lost time, gotta rent a car, gonna stay a while. If I don't move ahead, then I get stuck behind. I'm at a friend's place, gonna stick around. The puzzle pieces fit for now. The things you said were playing loud. There are people outside living their lives. Thousands of stories move through times. Only one face on my mind. All I want is you. All I want is you. There are people outside living their lives. Thousands of stories move through times. Only one face on my mind. A century long ago, I traded in my halo. Whoever it is that you think I am, I'm still figuring it out. I'm jealous of the people outside, just living their lives. Millions of secrets get lost in the light. Tell me how to reach you, show me a sign. All I want is you. All I want is you. All I want is you. All I want
Ladies and gentlemen, folks around the world, fans of Rocket League across the globe, look at the celebration, look at the emotions on your screen, look at them and enjoy them. It's Day 3, Championship Sunday for the Rocket League Championship Series. It's going to be an incredible day of competition, and we could not have a better crew of people to take us through the action. I hope you guys are ready. This is going to be a big one. I got a Gibbs, I got a Daz, I got a Stack, so they are ready to help me cover the action. Hope you guys are ready out there as well. Yesterday was crazy. It's been a wild season so far, and we are getting closer to our first live event, Major 1 in Copenhagen. That's March 28th through 31st. Gonna be going down here at the end of the month. We are currently right now in Open Qualifier number 3. This is gonna be a big day to determine which teams from North America are going to be playing in Major 1 at the end of the month. So we'll see how close we can get there today, see which teams punch their tickets, and we will continue on from there. Now, this is the end of our week here for Rocket League. Next week's got lots of fun action coming down the pipe for all of you guys, and we'll see how that one goes. On Wednesday, we have the First Touch podcast, as always, Dazrin in the gang, catching you guys up on all the action that's happened across the Rocket League world and giving you their opinions on it. And then the 8th through the 10th, we'll have the European Final Open Qualifier. It's kicking off at 5 p.m. Central European time. The pre-show starts half an hour earlier. It should be an excellent show. I know you guys all are going to want to catch that action, see which teams are able to take the top there. So everybody in all these competitions playing for a large prize pool as well as a sum of points here. $21,000 on the top of the line. 16 points for taking first place there. Most importantly, the teams right now concerned with the points, as it will punch their ticket or keep them out from going to that major. Final week, everyone cares about the prize pool. Mostly they care about the points though. So we are getting set for our live action, and we should have an excellent show, an excellent day of Rocket League ahead of us. So we can take a look at the North American leaderboard, and I'm excited to see what teams are moving up right now. We have the top 4 teams more or less set, but depending on how things go with TSM today in the bracket, we could have a tiebreaker on our hands at the end of the day. Today, we are going to play 3 matches, but it could be 4, again, depending on how things go with TSM. G2 sitting up on top, Gen G as well. They both have confirmed their spots, but between TSM, OG, and Luminosity, the 2 final spots could be up in the air. We'll talk about that more as the day continues here. Excited to get into the action as soon as we can, and teams are preparing in the background. 26 minutes until the first kickoff. OG will be taking on Gen G Mobile 1 Racing. Both teams have had quite a bit of progress and quite a bit of development over the course of the season. Gen G was not able until Friday to take down G2. They do so successfully in the Swiss, and then again take care of Space Station very cleanly to advance to the semifinals. Meanwhile, OG able to take down Luminosity here and have had a complete rebound since the beginning of the season when they began 0-3, going as badly as possible in qualifier number 1, and then had to reverse sweep out of the Swiss. So it was pretty crazy stuff though. If you want to see it, catch an action, some of the action of what happened yesterday in these quarterfinal matches, take a look at OG versus LG. Excellent gameplay. All right, folks, here we are. I think we're back, gentlemen.
Yes. Hello.
Let's go.
Hello.
It's success.
We've made it. We've made it.
Okay, let's talk about yesterday, though. Luminosity and OG, my goodness, what a match.
Yeah, this matchup definitely was went a pretty strong distance, right? Went game 6. Definitely a lot of back and forth action. Good on OG, though, because Luminosity, they had them in the last matchup, but then OG showed up and showed out. And then we went right after that, back-to-back Game 7 starting with G2 Omelet.
Yeah, the first Game 7 of North America, and it was a defensive masterclass. 5 of these games were 1-0, and I think 4 of those were overtime as well. So it was great to see some high-quality defense. Kids at home, if you're watching, this is how you play defense. Don't give up the juicy rebounds. Throw it to the corners. Pass it to your teammates. These are the highlights I like to see. Don't worry about the flip resets. You don't need them. Sound defense will win you games. Omelet was looking fantastic. They held it. They were so close. They went to Game 7 versus G2, the best in North America, but finally the wall cracked, or the eggs cracked, and 3 goals for G2 in this Game 7, with 2 of them being high-quality goals. So Omelet, the defense was great. The offense just couldn't get going, but that's not really the fault of them. G2's defense is #1 in all of North America. Hats off to them to win a close match.
We go the entire split in North America without a Game 7, and then we get 2 back-to-back. How about this for you guys, by the way? 22 out of the 25 games yesterday decided by just 1 goal. By far, NA's most exciting day, and this one was a fitting cap to all of it. Couple of near misses along the goal line. TSM goes up 3-1. Remember, they shocked everybody by going 3-0 in the Swiss, being the #1 seed coming into the quarterfinals. M80, though, they bring it back to Game 7. That one from Hockey was not enough, but in the end, TSM creams 1v3, and it ain't no lie, waving bye-bye-bye to everybody. TSM into the semis.
Man, what a turnaround. What a turnaround on the season for TSM. I was referencing earlier OG and this turnaround they've had here, Gibbs. I mean,
yeah.
Which rebound do you rate more highly, OG or TSM?
I feel like TSM's, because OG, the pros, they thought that they were a top 4 team, and now they're finally starting to show that. TSM was outside that picture, more in that 8 to 10 range, but now that they finally showed their off-season form, their hey bro form, it's fantastic to see, but they still have more work to get done to make it to the major, but they are alive for it.
Okay, well, that leaves us with the top 8 bracket you saw at the top of the show. We played the quarterfinals yesterday. We have semifinal action for you today, as well as grand finals, maybe tiebreakers at the end of it there. The quarterfinals, all close ones. Finally get our first Game 7, as we talked about. It leaves us with TSM versus G2 and Gen G versus OG. We might have a rematch on our hands of our first open qualifier finals between G2 and Gen G, or we might see something brand new. TSM here, Gibbs, trying to create a 4th match at the end of the day.
Yes, tiebreakers could happen with OG, TSM, and Luminosity. Right now, those are the 3 teams alive for 2 of the spots left. G2 and Gen G, they're locked #1 and #2, so we don't have to worry about them. But as we look at prize pool and points, they are the ones that are fighting for the spots. Luminosity is not here, so they can't get any more points. But both TSM and OG, they can collect 3 more points per win until the grand finals, where you get that 4-point bump up. So if we look at the leaderboard for North America, incredibly close. We kind of thought this might happen at the beginning of the split. We thought this was a 2-team region in G2 and Gen G, and then everyone else is going to trade wins, and it's coming down to it, where like if OG wins, they'll be tied with Luminosity. TSM would have to win to tie OG, though, so they would want OG to lose. If TSM wins this entire event and they face OG in the finals, Luminosity and OG will play a tiebreaker. If TSM wins 1 match and OG loses their first match, TSM and OG will play a tiebreaker. So those are the tiebreaker possibilities there. So Luminosity, for the fans at home, you're big fans of G2 and Gen G for today. You want them to take care of business.
We'll see if they can do it there, folks. Everybody stay tuned and keep all that information in your mind. We'll remind you as the day goes on here. But before we talk all about today here, Dazran, walk us through the top 3 plays of yesterday. Biggest Rocket League games in the house. Let's go.
Give me the top plays right now. What's number 3? Oh, Game 7 ice from Daniel. Of course it is. Look at this. Beautiful extra effort. 3-minute OT, and Daniel stuns Omelet. You see him go up for the initial challenge. Great read on the play. Gets the dunk on Percy. Lion thinks he has a free ball. No. And Daniel gets it to Atomic. G2 win that one. Guess what? What's next? First killer. How many taps does it take to get the ball in the net? 1, 2, 3. That's exactly what you need from FK. Right off the pass from Abject, he gets his flip there, still holds on to it, but then uses it to readjust and get the goal. And then finally, you talk about ice. I'll give you ice creams all over M80 to solidify the victory and keep them in the major running. Again, another Game 7 stunner of a victory. Creams nailing the shot.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Gross, but disgusting. Clean. It's so annoying to me that, like, dirty and clean in these situations mean the same thing. Like, this should not be the case, but here we are.
But
folks.
washed means something completely different. So.
Right, but yeah. It's kind of like cooking versus cooked, you know? Like, you gotta pay a lot of attention there, folks. All right, now, North America is not the only thing that's happening here. We got so many regions across the world of teams trying to compete to make it to Copenhagen here. Let's walk through the details, Gibbs, of what's happening in the other regions, starting with the Middle East.
Yes, MENA region, we all expected it to be Falcons and Rule 1, and guess what? All 3 finals were Falcons and Rule 1. But this Qualifier 3, Twisted Minds again. They put up a fight versus Rule 1, but it just wasn't enough. And then we go into the finals where Falcons just dominate Rule 1. Qual 2, it was close. It was very, very close. Falcons and Rule 1 went to Champions Field, and we're like, all right, maybe there is a chance that Rule 1 can at least beat them once going into the major, but no. Falcons were like, this is our region. We are ready to go. We are ready for that major. A lot of people, they consider them a top 4 team in the world, so we'll see if the Falcons can show that. Rule 1 will be there as well, though, so not the greatest results here, but it's MENA, and you know they're going to perform when it comes to the major time. But it was a 3-headed monster here. The goals were Killers had 5. I think Tier K had 3, and Roas had 4. They all assisted 4 times each. So 3-headed offensive masterclass by the Falcons, and they will be your #1 seed going to Copenhagen.
Okay, we'll see those teams compete there. We're excited to see those teams there. Let's talk about Oceania here, Stacks. What happened down under?
Well, in Oceania, Power did it again. 3 qualifiers.
My goodness.
3 wins. But they got all they could ask for from the Quick Trip Pioneers. It will be Power and Pioneers going into Copenhagen representing Oceania. The Pioneers had to earn it here. They had Chiefs hot on their tail. Definitely aided, of course, by Chiefs having to go through Power, while Pioneers had arguably an easier path in that they avoided Power until the grand finals. But you know, in the grand finals, you had Torsos and Amphis with 9 goals each. I mean, it was a masterclass from both of them. They were putting on a clinic. I've always been a big fan of Amphis. I thought that Ground Zero team was kind of robbed by the pandemic, because I thought Oceania was kind of reaching its international peak right at the right time. And then, oh, by the way, now we can't play anybody internationally for like 2 years. So to see OCE kind of crawling back to where they were around Season 6, Season 7 time, and Amphis scoring an absolute worldie there, I don't know. I think this is the best OCE has looked in a very long time, and I would not be writing them off as free wins as some people had in previous seasons.
That was a few juicy ones in there. We should modify our own top 3.
Amphis is a highlight reel by himself.
He is. Crazy. Fever as well, popping off there at the end. All right, Daz, APAC, how's it going?
Yeah, let's go check things out over at APAC. Now, going into this one, there was a tie between Elevate and Gladiators, with Chapati Dream hot on the tails here, but mainly everybody was looking at Elevate and Gaming Gladiators. A lot of people thought Gladiators were going to be able to make it through. Just seeing the names on the team, Maxu, Virtuoso, Realize, but as you see in the bracket, they met in the grand finals, and Elevate handled business. It was a 4-1 scoreline here, so we will be seeing LCT, Kevin, and Spinks in Copenhagen. You take a look at the highlights, and the highlights also paint a much better picture than the scoreline here does. Lots of great solo individual efforts. Spinks put on a massive class there. Look at that double. My goodness. I mean, you talk about the level of talent coming out of APAC, and you might see something similar compared to OCE here. This Elevate team is no joke.
Sphinx, he is the youngest player to participate at a LAN now. He breaks the RLCS record set by Daniel by, I think it was 39 days. He was born in 2009, and he's going to Copenhagen. And hats off to LCT.
Get off my lawn. That's insane.
Yeah, I know. Like, it hurts my back just thinking about it. But LCT got kicked off his team before the World Championship last year. Had to play with him anyway. But he's returned as the #1 seed in APAC. So kudos to him as well for bouncing back.
Okay, contenders across the world heating up as we head to our first in-person event here. We can talk about Sub-Saharan Africa here, though, Stacks. A slightly abnormal detail. I can see that Limitless versus Young Money Clan is a 1-0. What does that mean?
Well, okay, so coming into the event, Young Money Clan and Limitless were the two contenders for Sub-Saharan Africa. Of course, YMC playing their European team that were playing in the region, and they needed Limitless to lose no later than quarterfinals. So what happened? Allegedly, they tried to set it up in the Swiss so that they would get Limitless in the quarterfinals. That's not okay. There was an investigation, competitive ruling issued that they would be DQ'd from the event and banned for a year. And as a result, Limitless, as they probably would have anyways, have qualified. They have clinched their spot in Copenhagen, and I believe that final has just gone final. Limitless did drop a game to Astronic Skill Quest, but they won 4-1 in that grand final. So Limitless does indeed sweep the 3 qualifiers for Sub-Saharan Africa, and we will see them. The first time we'll see SSA at a major, and of course, very fitting that the boys from Limitless will be there.
Yeah, we've seen Limitless at previous in-person events. We get to see them representing their region again. And these are the teams here, Daz, that have qualified through so far. Still a few spots up in the air. South America will be clarifying their champions by the end of the day. Still kind of a 3-horse race in that region. And we will be clarifying our other 2 teams by the end of the broadcast.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to want to see what comes out of Sam. A lot of people are expecting Furia and Complexity, but NIP is hot on the trail. I think NIP are going to be playing Furia very shortly here as well. So people are going to be keeping eyes on that matchup. That'll happen in about an hour or so. So again, tabs on Sam as the day develops. But yes, you're right. We're starting to get a full picture. We'll figure out EU next week. But for the most part, we've got, we've seen all the other regions here, and from what it looks like, the level of competition going into Copenhagen is going to be very high.
Is going to be a spicy one here, folks. Now, we still got 11 and a half minutes before Genji and OG kick off their competition here on the broadcast and find out who's going to be in the grand finals for Open Qualifier number 3 of North America. Lots of words there. Let's play a game. Let's play a game in the meantime. Gibbs, you came up with this game. Do you care to explain how it works?
Sure. So the game is called 50-50, and the idea is you make a claim that Twitch chat will vote on, and they'll say if they think it's yes or no or yay or nay. The idea is to try and split the chat equally, 50-50. Whoever gets closest wins the game. So I'll go first for this instance so we can get this ball rolling. So my claim is that Space Station qualifies for Major 2. Do you think it's yes or no? Put yay or nay in chat. Hashtag yay, hashtag nay. You could also just write yay or nay. Don't have to worry about the hashtag. But
are you thinking? Okay, what do you think?
It's tough. That's why I put it as a question, right? Like, I feel like.
Yeah, so what do you think?
Like,
you put
Major 1 power rankings, I might have them 4th right now over Luminosity. I'll probably put Luminosity 5th based on what they did throughout this split. But they ran into a brick wall, so it's really tough. Major 2, I feel like, is that actually live?
We should not let
that is insane.
No, guys, bounce it back out. No, bounce it back out. Pull it down, pull it down. But yeah, it's tough. They're right on that cusp, and Twitch chat agrees with me. So
I think they're the best team that's not making the major in North America, and I understand that there will be teams that are going to be ranked above them, but those teams didn't run into Gen G all 3 times in the quarterfinals. So yeah, SSG just got the absolute worst draw. I feel so bad for them.
I mean, I think 49-51 is basically the closest score we can give you. So we're saying, I feel like we score you on the difference. So when it was 52-48, so that gives you 4 points. You're trying to have 0 points if possible.
All right, I'll take it. It sounds rigged, but it's fine.
All right, this one might be a little tough. Listen, it's NA, it's early. EU, all the EU fans are watching the quals. I know there's gonna be some here in this one, but I think I could get the 50-50 here. G2 will win Major 1. How do we feel about it?
Major one. The one that's about to happen.
The
One that's about to happen.
You mean the team that couldn't score on
No.
the
We didn't
Neil, Lion Blaze, and First? Okay.
We didn't do this with Gibbs. That's all I'm saying. We didn't do this with Gibbs.
Now, to
Well,
be fair,
none of us
this
disagree
is,
with it. We were all like, oh, we don't know.
So this is the problem when you have a weekly show with T-Bates, where you have to listen to him harping about G2 all the time. I think Daz
Can we
is drinking
change
the
that?
Kool-Aid. I think Daz is drinking the Kool-Aid.
I mean, Chad
I'm not
can
sure
change
about
the
that.
thing.
I didn't say I believed it. I just thought it would actually get. I thought I could sneak it in and get a split. Oh man.
Oh, man.
All right, move on. This one's not
Apparently,
close. This is-
apparently this one is
New
not
high
even
score,
close.
Daz! Yay!
Wow. Okay. Stacks. The bar has been set pretty low.
Right. Thank goodness he had to go before me. Now, listen, chat. Sam or Mina will win a major this season. All this talk, yapping about NA versus EU. NA so bad, EU so great, blah, blah, blah. I want it all to stop. I need like a Furia Falcons final. Listen, I'm real high on Falcons.
You want you
this
both are to make it
is-
to the finals at the same time?
This is the
yeah, why
more
not?
nay one.
Yeah,
Out
this
of
is.
anything. They've never
you
won
need-
one. At least
so
G2
you
won
need-
a major.
Okay, first of all, a Mina team did make a grand final.
But did
They didn't win it.
What?
They
yeah.
didn't win it. Ah, there you go.
They
See,
did
I
not
like
win,
that.
but boy, this Falcons team,
it's
you
possible,
got the
but I would
Twins
have
and
added North
DRK.
America.
There's
Like, I
no
would've-
way this split is
gosh,
bigger
he's
than
yapping.
Daz's.
He's
There's
yapping.
no shot.
He's yapping.
I'm just saying,
Falcons-
Europe
Falcons, to me,
versus
have a
the
better chance of
world,
winning a
you
major
might
than
have a
G2.
chance. You might have a chance.
Yeah.
Just Sam and
That-
Mina? No.
That somebody takes it other than Europe. Oh, I still think it's probably about this same result. I feel like
Yeah.
Europe is,
I know.
until the first major happens, it's going to look this way. All right, get that out of here, chat.
All right, wait.
Chat.
You have a chance.
Let's show them how this game is played. All right, it's pretty simple stuff here. I think chat will successfully get 50-50 right now. Just
What?
you guys have you vote yay.
You're such
you
a
vote nay.
fraud,
I
man.
called it. I knew he was going to
No,
do it. I knew it.
Chat, I told him I had a bit, and Gibbs is like, oh, he's probably going to say the chat's going to go 50-50, and I was sitting there seething as I'm typing it, like, I don't, it's too late to change it.
You
But
can't
guys gotta work with
outbid
here.
me, Wave. You just
Come
can't
on,
do
we
it.
gotta beat
As-
Gibbs. We gotta beat Gibbs on one thing. Come on.
No.
You still can't even
More
get
yays.
it.
More yays. More yays. Come on. Keep it going.
You
Keep
still
it going.
can't even
Nay.
get it.
As
Nay.
the resident chat panderer on CRL, I applaud this. Well done.
It's
well
a
done.
weird game.
No, it's not even working for
Come on.
you.
Oh, my.
Oh no, it'll work. It'll work.
Yeah, we can't
Look at it.
lose.
Look at it go. Look at it go.
Hey,
Come on.
hey, it's going the other way. It's going the other way.
We overcompensated. Oh, no. Oh, no. This
have to
is
go
Twitch.
back.
This is Twitch plays
Punk.
percentages.
Oh, this
had-
is bad. This is really bad for you
Wait,
now.
Punk.
I have too much
You just have to
power.
You're up
realize.
on our side of it now. Okay, wait, hold on. They're adjusting.
They're trying. They're trying.
All right.
They're trying. I don't think it's going to happen. I think,
There
I
it
think
goes.
Gibbs wins.
Oh.
And now we're going to-
You're at the 51. We can close the vote now.
Production.
There you go.
Okay,
There you go.
let's go,
Twitch chat,
baby.
good
Let's
job.
go. We win. Let's go, chat. Yo, that was you. That was you. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Well done. Well done.
Well done. Well done.
Weird
Wade.
game, Gibbs.
Oh, man.
It's a weird game, but I still wind up winning anyway, Wave. You know, you can try and rig it as much as you want, but
You know who the real winner
fair
is?
enough, fair enough.
Chat.
yeah,
Chat won.
chat's the
Chat
real
won. Good
winner.
job, chat. Give yourself
Thank you,
a round of applause. Here's the bracket we have today. 3 matches guaranteed. Depending on what TSM does, we might have a 4th one at the end of the day. Again, that grand final's coming up at the end of the broadcast, guaranteed. But TSM and G2 will play after our first match of the day. Gen G taking on OG, the battle of the Gs. Who's able to take it further, folks? Can Gen G make it back to the grand finals here? Can OG make it to their first one of the season? And the stories for both these teams, there's been an up and down. I feel like I don't know. Do we want to talk about Gen G peaking right now? Or do we want to talk about OG and the roller coaster, the rebound? I mean, Stacks, where do you want to start?
I want to start on OG, where they have put all the extra effort in. Now, it didn't work for everybody that's been boot camping this week, but this is a team that has had that sense of urgency. And I think we've seen more than anything with this squad, we've seen Calm really step up. Again, he's always had this reputation of all he does is go for bumps and demos. No, he has been a consistent force in the offense here for OG. He's been somebody that you not only have to kind of keep your head on a swivel looking around for, but he's been a bit of a table setter. He's leading the team in assists, and you don't do that just running around trying to bump the other team. They've got Calm more involved, and it has paid dividends for OG.
And how fitting, we began these broadcasts back in Qualifier 1 on day 1, and this was our first match. It was Gen G versus OG. The expectations were an all-time high for an OG squad. The pros power ranked them number 4, and then what do? They go 0-3 in Swiss. Then they go 0-2 in Swiss, and Wei Funk said it's over. They're cooked, it's done. And since that moment on, they won 3 in a row in Swiss. Then they go 3-1 Swiss here. Back-to-back top 4s. But again, they're going up against Gen G. This is Nolly versus apparently Jack. You know, like obviously Nolly no longer on this squad because you're going to pick up the North America MVP in first killer. You will always do that. So Nolly, I think, understands, but at the same time, he wants to make his mark in North America now and do it with OG, do it with 2 veterans as well. He's having a hard time, though.
He's taking the branding off the bottle on camera. It's off the camera there, folks. I do think that this match is, I think we got to talk about the fact that this is Nolly versus his old team and the extra chip on their shoulder for OG. The fact that they are sitting next to each other, that they are as prepared as possible, they are peaking at the right time, and they have extra incentive. At least one of their players has extra incentive. And when one of your players has extra incentive, you know the whole team's got that incentive. They are all incensed against this roster with the same energy here. I think there's some extra energy here for OG in this match.
Okay, I can see that. I still think he's going to win, though.
No. But
okay,
there is.
We're not here for paid advertising, okay, Daz? Come on.
What's paid about this advertising? I'm right.
So I don't think Nolly cares. Nolly doesn't care about
our
playing
local Gen G correspondent here. Dazzer, what do you think about the match?
Well, I think Gen G Mobile One Racing is one of the greatest teams in North America, and they're going to prove it right here, right now. You see, one of the things that I think is, we talked about the Swiss stage, always losing out to M80. This time, M80 struggled to even get to the top 8. Gen G perfect swept through Swiss. Are we forgetting the fact that they beat G2 in Swiss? Hello? Like, they almost swept them. G2 had to pull back. Gen G's playing on a totally different form now. They go against SSG. Everybody thought Gen G was going to win that one. They do. They show up. Now they go into today still in that same form. I don't understand. I mean, I understand the reason why you think, okay, yes, OG is definitely elevated. They took down Luminosity, who took them down. But looking at just the strength of schedule here, OG has never beaten Gen G. This was the first match we had when the season started that we showed on this broadcast, and it was a 3-1. I don't see any reason why they
but you cannot look at this OG roster and say that they look at that first week of results and be like, oh, it's the same team. Clearly the same thing going to happen. Clearly a different team here. Chat, what do you think? Hashtag OG, hashtag GGM1. We'll talk about who we think is going to win up here. Gibbs, I mean, are you pulling for tiebreakers and
I am, but there's 2 different ways those tiebreakers could go. But I do feel like OG, they have everything to play for, obviously. They're playing for their major lives right now. They don't know what's going to happen later with TSM, so they have to win this match. They feel like they have to win this match to make it to the major. While Gen G literally cannot move. They're the number 2 seed in North America, so all the incentives, sure, you talk about Nolly versus former team, that doesn't matter. You got 3 players trying to make the major. That is incentive enough, but Gen G is playing incredibly well with First Killer being more passive on that back line. He is having his best regional yet with this team, so I can't go against them.
Oh, we are split, but Stacks knows what's up. I gotta say, Stacks, I called this team dead. To complete the story here, I gotta predict OG on this one. Come back around, silence the doubters. I got him.
Well, yeah, and one of the ways that you shut down a team like Gen G, who's got an explosive offense, you limit opportunities. OG has done that throughout the tournament. They're only allowing between 6 and 7 shots a game. That's kind of the sweet spot you want to be in, to be kind of a lockdown defense. So that's their path to victory. They have to be able to shut down this team that's averaging over 3 goals. If it turns into a track meet and a shootout, then yes, Gen G wins easily, but I think OG keeps them in check.
Yeah, OG right now is the number 2 defense throughout this entire tournament. The only one that's better is TSM. So, but the problem is they're going up against a Gen G squad who's putting up, over 3 goals a game. it's nearly 3.2, and number 2 on that list is at 2.4. So Gen G is world-class offense throughout this tournament, and a lot of that has to do with how First Killer is playing. If they can keep First Killer comfortable, I think that's the number 1 goal on the squad, is when you bring in First Killer, make him as comfortable as possible. I think Qualifier 1 and 2, they didn't do that. They made him play aggressive and not be on the ball and try and just make plays on the other side of the field. Now he's sitting back a little bit more, waiting to play just unfold in front of him, and then he'll capitalize. And it's worked so well. They did take down G2, as Daz said. I wouldn't call them the best team in North America just yet, but they're top 2 for a reason. But there's a reason why there could be tiebreakers. It's because it's G2 and Gen G, and then literally everyone else in North America. So it's hard to bet against them.
Look, you said it. You guys all said it. Like if Gen G's feeling comfortable, this is a done deal. If FK is comfortable, if he's feeling safe and secure, he's gonna be done. It's gonna be fine. Gen G's gonna be in the finals, but you got one of the best disruptors in the game on the other side. You got Calm coming in from the sideline, deleting you off the field. You had your brain, you had your read, and then you're respawning in the other corner here. I'm telling you, you got a disruptor on one side. If there's one person that can make them uncomfortable on the field, I'm looking at Calm.
Now, what's really interesting about that is that is something I noticed with OG. Normally, Calm is a player that just plays in front of the ball and just goes for demos and all of that. He is, in front of the ball, the 3rd least of all players in this tournament. He's also playing way more passively. And maybe like OG is trying to figure out where they want to play him as well. He's a very mechy kid as well. A lot of people don't know that. They just think he's going to go for demos and do all that stuff. But he's got the mechs to back it up as well. So right now, he's been not going for demos and not doing it as often. Does that change today? Like, is that game plan oriented versus certain teams rather than others? We'll have to see.
Yeah, or is it a change in character? Is he using his current image to get you to prepare for one thing, and now he's adjusting to a different thing here? You know, you never know. Like it could genuinely, and that could be either way. You know, if the players have made the read that you've made, and then he goes for the demos now, it changes their minds. Or they have the read that many people have from his past of him just being in front of the ball, mechy or a demo heavy player, and then the backline presence will surprise them.
Looking at this one, honestly, hold on a sec. Looking at this one, honestly, I think that this is like, you have to understand, this does come down to game planning at the same time, right? OG did really good game planning against Luminosity, and against Gen G, they also are going to do that as well. It's going to be how Gen G can adjust. I'm glad I got Chad with me, though, on this one. No 50-50s here.
You do. Gen G.
Hey, that's about the same score you had earlier.
It is.
Hey, Gen G pulling out the win here. Folks, the players are ready now. It is time to begin Championship Sunday. OG on one side trying to protect their spot at Copenhagen. Gen G trying to secure another win and give themselves an opportunity to prove themselves at the top of North America. Get up and get loud. It's game day.
And then there were 4. Gen G have been waiting for their shot at the crown, but OG are finally playing up to their fullest potential, and the underdogs hope to bite back in this rematch.
They had so much heart yesterday. If you saw the cam of the huddle after the overtime winning goal from Nolly, and Nolly as well, playing with a bit of a chip on his shoulder. Gen G had the best split North America has ever seen in the first split of last season, and that was with Nolly. He's been replaced now by First Killer. You know he wants some revenge.
Absolutely. A lot of people had OG high in their power rankings, and this is the best they've looked all split. And they're hoping to show up against one of the best teams in North America who still want to prove they're #1, and that is a good start for Gen G.
Chronic and First Killer were incredible through the Swiss states, both tied with how many goals they put in. Chronic putting the first one in here. This is a big series because, like you said, G2 this season has had the crown. It looked like Gen G was never that comfortable or as comfortable as they knew they could be. But this event so far, they have looked comfortable, confident, and Chronic is a big part of that success.
How can you deny Gen G when they haven't lost a game this regional yet? And it's a quick counterattack from OG, hoping for that tying goal. Jay Naps running out of boost, and Gen G keep them at bay. Will this be the regional where they can be #1? They'll go to Copenhagen regardless. OG have to worry about the result of the next semifinal if you're an OG fan. That's what's at stake. But for now, you see Gen G commanding this offense. Players getting traded out, but JNAPS has to take it high to get out.
Con with a good lineup. You can see force first killer to jump. JNAPS with a very important win here. Did he buy enough time? Chronic gonna go for a redirect, but nice job from Com to make sure the ball never found him.
OG showing some potential, but against Jack, when he has the space, he will make it work. Gen G with an even better lead.
And you saw how much time Nolly was trying to take in the corner, but First Killer says, no, I'm cutting that off. Apparently, Jack, he was playing more of that glue role yesterday. You saw him landing so many demos, actually demoing more than anybody else yesterday. But you cannot forget that he also has that individual ability, a low altitude double tap, making it look easy from apparently Jack, and a good dive from First Killer. Already, Gen G is suffocating OG with pressure.
Oh, and First Killer wanting to drop this off. But now it goes to the side, and Chronic and First Killer lose that momentum. And here's JNAPS with the long pass, and tried his best to handle that. Back and forth we go. For Gen G, in the stats, have very similar shot counts as OG, but Gen G are just deadlier on the pitch. They convert, I think, 12% more than OG in those attempts. And you're already seeing that on display with a 2-0 start this early in the game, almost in the second half. JNAPS likes to go high, and Jack is starting to figure that out, is meeting him halfway to slow down the OG push. Here comes First Killer, by far one of the best players on the pitch, and we'll see if he can keep up that consistent shine he's shown us in this regional comp. Oh, he surprised us, but a great save from Jack comes out.
This is the best opportunity we've seen yet from OG. They've had extended pressure, but that is a key miss there. Com not able to get the 50, and now the low boost challenge. You can see the early jump from JNAPS, but he has nowhere near enough boost. Open net, and First Killer will knock it down, and that challenge to midfield that was not contacted at all by Com. That was really the death blow. It put Com out of rotation, slow to get back. You saw the panicked early jump from JNAPS. That is the threat from Gen G. When they have the ball in the air, all of them are so good, and they can at least take one defender out of the play, and you put them in those one-on-one situations, and slowly Gen G will just tear you down.
Oh, when Nully has to make a goal line save like that, you're just getting worried that Gen G are starting the avalanche. JNAPS takes a shot. Good save by First Killer, but it's not fully cleared out. Good job by Chronic to follow up. The pressure is on, but now that Nully is missing, this offense from OG could start to be stifled in. First Killer receives a pass in. Wow, disrupts Nully right in the box. This is scary, but with that demo, OG can breathe a bit.
And that's not the first time we've seen First Killer jump all over Nully. Nully trying to slow things down and take time, but First Killer, he's being such a headache for Nully to deal with.
And Chronic involved in that last assist, and look, it feels like Gen G can do whatever they want, and OG have to utilize demos to get them out of their half. And OG gotta figure out how to break up these passes. It's 3 unanswered goals. At least the 2 past ones have been off of passes, and a fantastic one from Chronic, who's been that selfless player, the one you can plug on the offense or defense. Could fit on any team. Now Jack getting that below JNAPS, and OG layering their defense. But Gen G are knocking on this door and finding almost every rebound coming through the midfield. Now is Chronic through the corner, runs into Nully. First Killer up, Nully sends it away. Oh wait, the shot! That was kind of crazy. These counterattacks, I gotta watch it. I think I have some time to breathe, but really we don't.
You can see Gen G has been able to spend so much time on attack, and even there, First Killer's speed, it's been a struggle for particularly Nolly. It seems like in those situations, Nolly trying to control the ball, First Killer on his tail. We do see another shot, but again, First Killer there, and he also had an incredible save before. All around, solid performance. You see everybody from Gen G score to go. First Killer and apparently Jack all going side by side on the wall. It looked like they were messing around a little bit at the end. And that is it just goes to show you how comfortable Gen G was in that game. And I think that was the most comfortable that we've seen Gen G play in a while. I mean, they looked good yesterday, but this game was purely dominant. No goals. They zeroed out Nolly, zeros across the board. It looked so routine. It makes you stop for a moment, and you have to remember that this is a top 4 matchup. Gen.G is making this look easy.
When Nolly is having a quiet day, OG are in trouble. OG have to have one of their best performances. They have this whole split if they want to put a dent in the armor of Gen.G, who were just relentless on the offense. I mean, it was like, what, the first minute or 2 of the game, and Gen.G are already up 2-0. Their passes between each other seem uncontested, and OG are trying to keep up. There's some moments I thought Calm on the offense looked really threatening, but yeah, the saves out of Gen.G are just superb.
Oh, they were, particularly First Killer. He made a couple saves there. The best shots that OG had saved by First Killer. So, and then also we saw apparently Jack land a key demo as well for Gen.G in that game. Overall, very routine. This is going to be a really telling game, I think, game 2. OG shut out, Nolly zeroed out. They're going to have to figure something out and try to mix some things up.
Yeah, I think OG have faced Gen.G twice now, once in each regional, except this one. Haven't been able to take more than a game thus far. It's been a tough matchup, but OG have only grown more as the regionals have gone on. OG utilizing a lot of these defensive demos to relieve this pressure out of Gen.G, which can be suffocating to go up against. And with Gen.G even peaking in this split, or especially in this regional, taking a win against G2 was a huge statement. Now you hope that they can keep up those type of performances in playoffs, as they are harassing the net, but OG's defense lives on.
And one thing I will also say, that you still got OG using that grass boost meta. So they're not leaving anything out there. They're putting it all on the field.
Oh, that's scary. That was a tough one for Jack to reach with 0 boost, but Chronic keeps the play alive. JNaps gets that on the ground, and OG are slowed in the midfield, but it could be their time for a counterattack. Kong keeps the march going, but you just can't even utilize this back wall. Gen.G just deny everything, and look, Chronic wanting to meet First Killer, and that's a big bump. Jack, the shot is too high, it's off the cross, and couldn't find the rebound, so Gen.G retreat.
You always have to be careful of that, especially apparently Jack loves to leave the ball, go for the bumps. That was a very good opportunity. Actually, a little surprising that Gen.G was not able to score on that. But it shows you that in a heartbeat, Gen.G can make those adjustments if you give them that space. Now on the dribble, Chronic, there's a flick. Calm doesn't get bumped off the ball, but you saw First Killer going for it.
Yeah, this OG's defense needs layers when Gen.G, maybe not as demo heavy as OG, at least in this match, but will bump you out of the way. Here's Jack with the double tap, and Calm ready this time. Jack pulled off a nice double tap in the first game. Now demos across the board. OG have been good at getting Gen.G out of their hair, but now that Gen.G's getting their own demos, they can keep the play alive longer. Finally, the midfield is punctured here. OG move forward to get some more shots, more than the one they've had.
Well, you can see a little bit of a botched wall dash there from apparently Jack, but it doesn't matter. First Killer, all reliable, coming in, helping out, almost sweeping the line. If he bumped Nolly, that might have been a goal for Gen.G. Much better defense here from OG. And now time for Calm to work with. He can't solo play this, but there's that speedy challenge yet again from First Killer.
OG are surviving, but we'll see if they'll be able to actually thrive in this game. Calm can't be slowed. JNaps! The ball comes out to him, and OG off to a good start.
And you can see Calm being the first man in this situation, and he doesn't decide to hit it out right away. You can actually see him just jump and go for the no flip 50, which was the perfect call to win that ball out to the middle. Calm's not trying to score there. He's just trying to get that ball to JNaps, and he did so perfectly.
First goal for OG in this series. Have to play quick to keep up with them, and JNaps almost set up for success.
Uh-oh.
And that's maybe a miss, a critical one from Chronic as Calm hits the backboard. Now Nully and JNAPS look to disrupt the structure, and the play is turned, and Gen G moved too far forward. That was close.
No.
That was dangerous. And JNAPS makes the save as it turns.
First killer barely got a piece of that, and it was such an excellent effort from JNAPS to get there and pass it back from behind the defense. Now another scoring opportunity, and JNAPS goes right by. Com will still be able to clean it up. Com has been everywhere for OG.
OG all together. You saw the huddle before this match, and you see how much this matters to them. They're on a roll, and they stay composed against any opponent. Com able to clean up his own play. You love to see it. 2-0. And now Gen G to make sure Com doesn't do that again, so they'll demo him. Here comes Jack. Jack and JNAPS trying to bump him, and yep.
I mean, you saw that right away. This was a bad situation to be in if you're Nolly. You've got first killer chasing you down, and he got by first killer, but apparently Jack knows how to air dribble bump. He knows how to do the cringe play to score a goal. He's a ones fanatic, and he pulled it out there. First killer making matters even more difficult, but overall, very solid response here. Gen G still got work to do.
Now it's Chronic up first, back wall, oh, and it drops down. Scary moment there for OG, and they're still trying to get possession. Good clear from Nully, but still have to fight for this one. Com misses the 50, and JNAPS puts it down, and Nully just a few inches away, still wins the challenge. You get close to the Gen G net. OG are only up by 1, and they still hope to tie the series. Maybe an insurance play here. Com hoping to set up JNAPS. Space too far away. Now Gen G stabilized, and a pass to the first killer that Nully intercepts just in time. With JNAPS getting that demo, OG relieved that pressure, and here's the counterattack where Com is denied that second touch.
Nolly, the flip reset double, gets the 50, and he's happy to waste this time away. Abjack pre-jumped by Com. Com having a huge game with OG. First killer's gonna try to keep this up. Does find Chronic, but that should be game, and it is. OG, big time response after a game one that looked so routine for Gen G, and that man there, Com, the key to success. We also saw Nolly at the end there, very good defensive play where he was able to read the oncoming bump, and I mean, he had a little bit of practice from the play before, but this time able to come out on top, get that ball into a safe spot, and allow OG to clear it out. But Com, the man of the hour in game 2.
Yeah, what a pass to JNAPS. That was amazing. I like the defensive demos out of OG. You know, Gen G are just so excellent at passing between each other, usually setting up first killer to look like a demon on the pitch. And now that OG are utilizing those demos, it forces a bit of a restructure out of Gen G's offense, and they have to pull out more stops. And, you know, they put up a good amount of shots, but yeah, Com totally flipped that game around. 6 shots to his name alone. And he already impressed me in game 1, but didn't come up with any goals. But it seemed like a matter of time before OG was going to figure out how to make this work.
Certainly. And, you know, game 2, that's going to allow OG to stabilize. I think this series very easily could have got out of hand pretty quickly. But OG already proving that they can take it to Gen G. The best Gen G form as well that we've seen so far this split. So OG here to play and proving they've got what it takes, but how will they play in game 3? Gen G, now we'll see if they have some adjustments. Game 1, they looked very good. Game 2, we saw OG start to dodge the aggression and also have some misdirection of their own, and there's another misdirection play. JNAPS going for a flip reset. Nolly's shot will result in a rebound. Com's last back dives on it, which is risky, but Com doing enough. However, it is a 2v1 situation here. You've got JNAPS up against first killer and apparently Jack. Chronic will be slow to the play. Nolly, nice demo as well, but the panic's still there for OG, and it's a save off his own post, but in the end, knocking it in. Oh, that has got to be frustrating for OG.
Jack being called off and handing it perfectly to Chronic. Great retaliation out of Gen G when OG were so aggressive, putting on some amazing pressure right off a kickoff. And Gen G converting even when they got demoed. It was 2 versus 3, and Gen G still executed. As Calm goes up high. First killer's off the ceiling, gets an important touch. It goes all the way across. Of course, first killer does it.
A first killer from his own back wall goes off the ceiling, reads Calm like a book. The speed of first killer's challenges continue to play an important role in this series. In game 1, he was all over him, and there, to have the boldness to go off the ceiling and then on top of everything score it. That is why it is annoying to play first killer.
It really is. You can never feel safe, and Nully pushed off the ball, but JKnaps assisting. The play goes forward. Calm mistouch. Nully turns around, keeps it alive. But Jack escorts this out. JKnaps below, looming for his chance. He retreats for boost and wanting that pass, baby, from Nully. That gets broken up by Chronic. But it won't be easy. Gen G move forward now without first killer. They've made 2v3s possible before, and this is an awkward ball. And JKnaps still handles it well. Here is the march towards the net. The demo's in front. Chronic still there. First killer chasing around. And OG almost had a gap to work with.
But I like the idea on that play. You saw JKnaps immediately leave the ball and move upfield, allowing the dribble from his teammate behind him, and it's resulted in this possession, but Calm not expecting that 50 there. And now you can see JKnaps also getting tangled up with Calm, almost bumping him off the play. OG trying to move back into the half. There was that slight moment of confusion, which cost him a little bit on that attack.
And Gen G were running on fumes on that defense, so OG not able to capitalize on this moment, but now it's JKnaps and Nully versus first killer, but the backboard well protected, sent right to Jack, who's been ready for it, and 2 collide from OG to get this ball away. It's a cross pass from first killer with love, and Jack helps Gen G go up 3-0.
Oh, and this is just fantastic ball movement. The pass across, out of the reach of Calm, perfectly in the shot angle for apparently Jack. That was a perfect pass. And man, Gen G, they look confident yet again in game 3.
They do. Relying on those passes, that is what's catching OG off guard. And OG have been good at breaking that up, and now JKnaps not only has to pinch this, but bump first killer off the ball. Now Nully thought he had some space on this right side to go through the midfield.
Again.
And first killer's just up high.
He goes off the ceiling reading these touches. He's playing so confidently, and you know, it's like these belligerent challenges. You think maybe OG would see him coming, but no, first killer, he's just doing his own thing, and I mean, he doesn't get credit for the goal, but this was all because first killer, again, able to just outpace OG.
It was a great 50 win by Chronic, too, to set up the front 2 players to get now the 4th goal for Gen G, the most they've scored this series since game 1, where they had that 3-0 shutout. And of course, now that it's best of 7, you'll have timeouts, and first killer runs right into JKnaps, but it goes to Chronic, and he cuts it to the right. Nice placement attempt, but OG save it in time, and this gets past first killer. OG's counterattack has to be fruitful. They're behind by so much, and this has been a fruitless offense from OG in this game 3. Calm bringing in some speed. These challenges from Gen G have been killing them.
This is going to be a free shot here for Jack. Does go high, or for Chronic rather. Went high, wasn't able to complete it, but now you're just in time waste mode for Gen G. They have such a solid lead. OG hasn't been able to put much together. They've also been getting tangled up with one another. The crushing pressure from Gen G has been apparent in this game.
Jack to first killer, looking for the 5th one at least, and wanting to push Calm out of the way. Nully is demo. Gen G have the man advantage. Jack will go up high, and Chronic steps up, so this first killer, who's in the better spot? Of course, it's the killer himself. 2 goals to his name, 5-0 for Gen G.
And it's the late flip. Apparently, Jack slicing and dicing OG to pieces with that pass. First killer says, thanks for the silver platter goal. But oh my, apparently Jack he's on fire right now, and he's looking better than he has all split long. Gen G surging at the right time.
And Gen G are just beating OG to the ball when it comes to Gen G's defense, and maintaining possession has been tough in this game for OG. Even getting bumped off the ball, if they're not getting 50, they're getting just pushed off the play. It's Gen G don't need demos. They just win everything, it seems. Jack is gone, so you think OG's defense might be okay in the 3-2, but hey, Gen G still looks scary. Now 11 seconds before the pain will be over, and Gen G will go up in the series in starting to be a commanding fashion.
First killer gonna be bumped off the ball. They're almost adding some insult to injury. Gen G came to play a shutout. And not only a shutout, they scored 5 on their way to it. Gen G on fire. You wonder if OG has what it takes to douse some OG. They had the response in game 2. Now you wonder if they're gonna be calling a timeout here, because that was a pretty big beatdown limit.
It was. I would call a timeout just for the vibe check. And I know that OG are feeling a lot of pressure because their place at Copenhagen is not solidified. It all depends on how the TSM match goes if they were to drop this series. But you're going up against North America's best, and as Gibbs said on the desk, one of North America's best offenses. OG, we might have commended them for a defense, and yeah, against the 10 shots, they only allowed 5 goals, I guess, but OG were behind and slowing down more as they realized just how difficult this challenge was going to be.
Certainly, and you can see the demos coming out from OG as well. Everyone playing a part with those demos. I've seen a couple times now where JNAPS is rotating back, trying to get back into the play, and does land a demo from behind, but the Gen G individual excellence has been really tough for OG to deal with. It seems like, you know, they're taking out multiple times, they're taking out multiple defenders. So you have one player who can take 2 players out of the rotation, and then, you know, even if you get that one-on-one, like anybody from Gen G in a one-on-one situation is going to cook you. They all are so good at those 1v1 plays that, you know, Gen G, it's not a surprise they're having the success.
OG still working on passing between each other, and they have some good solo players for sure, and those Mechie kids, as Gibbs likes to say on the desk, but we'll see without that timeout if they can kind of bounce back morally. You see there's already more energy on the field there for OG, but maybe this starts to solidify in our mind that Gen G just are that consistent. And they'll be chasing that crown, and OG still stands in their way, of course, in this series, and JNAP setting up Calm, the double tap, the Chronic denies that. Play continues for OG. Nolly to Calm, and Chronic makes the save. But who's the first to this ball? It's Nolly again with that demo from Calm. JNAPS has a shot, and he takes it.
And this whole play was relentless pressure. You can see Calm, though, kick-starting that chance with the demo. But OG choosing to stay in the play on low boost. There were a couple times where players, instead of rotating out, they have a single small pad. They stay in the play and just keep the possession at all costs. And that seems to be the right call. You cannot give this Gen G team space and boost with the ball. Even if you have to make those risky low boost plays, it is worth it. And OG rather, gonna capitalize yet again, the counterattack this time.
Back-to-back goals out of OG from fantastic passes we just spoke about. If they could connect on that front, Gen G may not be able to rotate back in time, may not even be in position to save it. And OG looking fluid on the field after a good mental reset after the previous game. Getting shut out 5-0 hurts, but with the experience that OG has, this is a chance for them to get even more! And a save from Chronic, as Nully did his best in that attempt under pressure. JNAPS, good to put this in the corner.
That's a big 50. Chronic low boost. And there's a miss, so OG, they have been doing such a great job of finding each other with these short passing plays. The small ball game has been on point for OG.
Nully already intercepted as he's trying to go high with the ball. JNaps up first against Jack. Chronic missing. Advantage for OG. And you love to see that they're starting these demos on the offense now to dwindle down Gen G, and they're forced to look for boost elsewhere, giving space for Calm and JNaps to work with. Now first killer robs him, but won't let him get away with too much. Nully and friends of OG just have to deal with Jack in the midfield. Calm open to work something with this pass. It's been slow going for OG. Now JNaps to the side though, right into the arms of Genji.
And that was a little bit of a risky touch there. You can see Nolly's still panicking a bit, no boost, leading to a shot chance, but good jump from JNaps. First killer goes right towards that, another double commit. Things getting a little sloppy for OG. Genji still have time to get back into this one, but if OG can make it out, that was a big time stop when they were low on boost. Nolly again, very low boost. That's all he can do is touch it there, but JNaps in the midfield has been very good for OG.
Passes from OG, they're getting them closer to the net in easier fashion. But now Genji starting to play a bit faster on the defense and beating OG to the ball, and at least having a neutral 50 that buys Genji time to reestablish themselves. And this is a good chance for Calm, but two members of Genji hold on. Another save now from Jack. And Chronic is first up. Nully is still looking for bumps in the net, and now that JNaps is involved, the play was revived, and the clear is not for sure there from Genji. The play just keeps going. The offense comes knocking again. And OG are just so close to that third goal.
And it can't be understated how nice of a defensive double that was from Calm in a situation where they only have that 2-goal lead, which can disappear in a heartbeat. Big time clear now. Calm going for the goal. Not able to hit the target as we now approach this final minute of game 4.
Yeah, just couldn't place it on the left when the defender was diving towards the right. It's difficult how much it takes to score against a team like Genji. But OG have a comfortable lead. Less than 1 minute left. And Genji only registered 4 shots after, what, double digits last game after a 5-0? Genji can't relax at all. Not when OG come swinging for the fences. JNaps the Calm, saved by first killer again, and Calm from up high cleans it up.
And you saw Chronic had an angle to potentially make this save. It was off the ceiling. It was a bit awkward. He jumps, doesn't even make contact. He needs to at least get behind it for a 50. But OG has found a way to put Genji on the back foot. And OG looking ferocious. They didn't even have to use their timeout. And now they've got that response game. That shows the grit and determination from OG. Oh, and that's just in Calm. Testing the defense, catching them sleeping.
You know, when Calm's feeling good, OG are gonna look that good. The reset off the ceiling, solo play. Hat trick for Calm as OG looked like they spit back in the faces of Genji after that 5-0 defeat previously. And this pinch is a little scary. Goes off the cross. JNaps attempts the shot. And Genji are scrambling to get this out. Now going for demos to remove OG from this end, but it's too little and it's too late. OG have a response cooked up. They will not be shaken no matter how hard Genji play against them. And this game 4 ends, well, 5-0, or 4-1, I should say, but still OG taking the win.
And no shutout, but I think for OG, and you can see the timeout being called. This is so interesting. You see that that game, you know, so out of hand, even though we are tied in the series now. You see Genji calling a timeout here. Unbelievable.
Genji have only won their games through shutouts, through absolutely suffocating their opponents, especially OG in this case. 3-0 in game 1. Game 3 was 5-0 for Genji. But OG just always seemed to be able to clap back in the next one. When it was 2-1 in game 2 for OG, now 4-1. Now Genji have something to worry about. So I think this is a good call to make a timeout play here.
It's certainly necessary, and I think for OG, there is no more fear. I think after a game like that, where you are so dominant against the opponent, you know, early on, you could tell that first killer may be in the heads of his opponent with how fast he was playing, but now not so much. I mean, OG obliterating Gen G, pretty much doing exactly to Gen G what Gen G did to them in the previous game. And I think it's a little interesting here as well that OG, when they were in that situation, did not call a timeout. But then in this situation where Gen G gets spanked, just like OG did last game, they decide they need that timeout. So you wonder if that mental edge might be in favor of OG. And we do know that Com may be one of the most mentally strong players out there. Yeah, he went through a villain arc, and he had to be. There was a lot of people spewing hate at him because he was talking a lot of trash. But I think that only helps OG, especially when you think that Gen G has the edge when it comes to that raw talent.
And I love that the desk mentioned this, how Com was the demo guy, the one who talks a lot, who's the enabler, but the stars are the other people on the team, at least on the offense. But he's having his time in the spotlight, and Gibbs mentioned kind of wanting to redraw that image of himself and what his role is on the team. And he's really impressed me in this series, what Com can put out in a solo play when someone passes to him. And I think this is a good timeout call from Gen G also to kind of slow this momentum and the vibes. You know, OG thrive off of these vibes. You know, every win to them is just juicing them up, and Gen G need to kill that.
Oh yeah, you can tell just from the cams. I mean, Gen G all spread apart. You know, looks like they're playing from their own rooms, where OG all together. They won yesterday. They all huddled up. There is a clear energy that OG has right now, and that momentum might be the difference maker here for OG, who are the underdogs in this matchup. Gen G finally beat G2. It looks like, you know, it looked like this was the tournament. This was the qualifier that Gen G would finally come out on top, but OG are firmly standing in their way.
Gen G just right off a kickoff, pulling out all the stops. Series is tied 2-2. And Gen G have only won their games in shutouts. To see if the stats will keep the trend. Now Com hoping to follow through with this, and the demo comes out too late before the clear goes the other side. And now Gen G heavily missing members and just dropping bodies. OG keeping them tied up in their own end. Now First Killer sends this far and wide to Chronic, who's ready, but Com gets the first touch on that. Jack up, but running out of boost and needing some assistance. And First Killer wanting to drop this off, but knows that OG are up first. And Gen G go for these challenges that work out, and the pass to Com from Jack is insane.
Oh, and this is just a wide open net. You can see the miss there. JKnaps, I think, a bit surprised by that. I'm not sure if they were trying to plan that fake, but Gen G didn't buy it, and JKnaps not getting a piece of the ball as last man. That is certain death. And Gen G will get a freebie to start out game 5.
Yeah, OG just can't be too antsy moving down the field. Now Gen G starting to look scary. Double commit. Jack coming up next. But now OG have some space to work with, but midfield still being controlled by Gen G. So it's a slow burn for OG to move forward and find that response. When Gen G are up, it's hard to take them down, and OG going for every demo they can to just shake up the structure of Gen G. And here's Jack with the shot. Com ready off the cross, but Gen G hope to bully their way through. First up, Nully to get this out. And Gen G now forced back.
There's a nice demo from Com. This will be possession here. We'll see if OG can make the most of it. First Killer with the pre-jump, instantly up. So the possession in the hands of OG, and man, that play fizzled out before it started.
Oh, First Killer, scary moment there for OG, and a long clear. Goes back to OG, starting to build up that offense, but not registering a single shot yet against the 6 of Gen G. Com and friends know that they can have a good offense. They can shut out Gen G. See if they can do it. I guess technically not a shutout. They got 1 goal at the end there of game 4, but still felt like a shutout.
It did feel like a shutout. I mean, it basically was. I mean, even though Gen G scored that goal, and it looks like they might score another one potentially, Gen G had to call that timeout. So far, this has been a close game, so good adjustments from Gen G. They did basically get that freebie goal from the mistake at the midfield by OG, but it might be enough. As you pointed out, all the games that Gen G won were shutouts, so they have shown the consistent ability to keep OG scoreless.
At least OG's defense isn't hemorrhaging, but if OG start getting demoed, you gotta stay composed. But when Gen G's not on the ball, the threat may be not there, but maybe it's First Killer waiting for the perfect moment to challenge. And now OG is starting to be more careful when they let that open net goal go by. From a successful challenge from Gen G in that midfield, OG playing more cautiously, and Chronic flicks it above, makes them look silly. 2-0 for Gen G.
Oh, yeah, and another isolation play. This is what I'm saying. You've got a situation where you have one of these players from Gen G in a one-on-one. They're going to come out on top more times than they don't. And that play from Chronic as well was nice. He was playing it high, just knew that he needed to beat Calm and had the read off the crossbar the whole way. Very clean, very easy, very controlled from Chronic. But there's going to be a response, quick counterattack goal. So OG stopped the bleeding very quickly.
That's Calm off the ceiling, uncontested three-way pass all the way to JNAP, centered out in the net. OG get a goal. And Gen G, like we said, have won only in shutouts. Now the script is being rewritten. OG want to do just that. They want to get to the top 2 for their first time and stop Gen G from always going to the finals. But it's going to take everything out of OG to reorganize, especially on this offense. His Calm is now completely surrounded. Nolly steps up and almost to JNAPS, wasn't expecting it. Now trying to slow down this play. Nolly, the reset to Calm, it's off the cross. And Jack goes up high to get this out, and JNAPS can't reach the ball, but he can reach the player. And this falls into the lap of Calm, who is too far to the right, but at least keeps the play alive from the left to JNAPS, too wide to the post. And the clears are just centered out so OG can keep coming with the shots. Gen G, will they ever get out of this hole?
As we've seen so many nice passes from Nolly. OG, there's a flip reset from JNAPS going for the 50. Cleanup from Calm, and First Killer will be able to keep it out. Calm with the demo from behind. Apparently Jack just trying to get this out of their half. The pressure has been mounting for OG. The passes have been there, and they've come so close on these shots. But time is running out.
Time is running out, 17 seconds. At least OG are not letting these Gen G counterattacks do anything crazy. JNAPS to Nolly, at least it's off to the side. A few more seconds for OG to find the equalizer, and Nolly has a chance. Double commit from OG, or from Gen G, as OG have another chance. But the ball is on the ground off of that demo from First Killer, and Gen G go to match point.
Oh, wow, it looked like JNAPS had him dead to rights on that last play. Obviously, we would love to see another look at it on the highlights, but it looked like JNAPS had a shot, and he wasn't able to put that on target, sailing it just high. OG surging near the end, and really that game, the one mistake at the midfield really cost him, as I'm sure we'll see it here on this play right here. There was the tail end of it. And now we do see the timeout come out for OG with their back against the wall. Gen G on match point right now. As we said before, for OG to be in control of their own destiny, they need to get this win. Still not out of it yet if they lose here. Still might see them in Copenhagen. But it is going to be something they don't want to do, is sit and watch and wait to see if they make it.
Yeah, you want to be in control of your own destiny in that case. And I like this timeout out of OG because it was very winnable, at least very tieable to say the least. And OG are not mentally shaken from Gen G starting that win streak of being up 2-0 and the off never stopping. But then OG started to build up that pressure, and they went for demos on the offensive end. And Gen G were stuck at some points where OG were finding rebound after rebound, but sometimes the shots were too wide or it got a little mixed up in the midfield. And I think this is a good time for OG to just talk about it. Forget about those mistakes and focus on the strengths. And OG, they know they have strengths. They won a game in basically a shutout there in game 4. And now they just are coming up with a plan for this game 6.
I think, you know, maybe you just stick to the same plan, because in that game we saw, in about the span of a minute and a half, 3 different dimes from Nolly. One of them was the counterattack goal for JNAPS. Nolly's passing was on point. They were getting shot opportunities, They just weren't able to put them away. And Gen G, on the other hand, they started to cool off. I don't think you can, doubt the fact that they cooled off compared to what they were doing in those first games. They looked unstoppable. This time, the edging out OG simply from that mistake at midfield. So you wonder if Gen G will start to bring back that confidence, that comfortability, and start to close this out in style, or if that boot camp power, the energy that's clear that OG has, will help propel them to a win here and force Game 7.
So a lot of OG's success was, as we make sure everybody's in the lobby, a lot of OG's success was from these crazy counterattacks, these long passes that I remember at some point my jaw was just on the floor when JNaps would get these crazy passes to him, and Gen G was nowhere to be found. That's how much they were just being caught off guard. And I think if OG can find themselves on the field in these long passes, which are difficult to execute against a team like Gen G, OG can pull out all the stops and get more on the board, because you want to go back to whatever you did in Game 4.
Well, certainly. And also, everyone at home, we have a little bit of a delay. We're going to be getting a new server for the players. It'll take just a moment, and we thank you for your patience as we get ready to get into Game 6. OG almost tying things up late. Gen G barely edging them out. This series has been back and forth. We've seen beatdowns from both sides, but now we are in the home stretch. Match point here for Gen G. And it looks like that timeout that they called did pay off limit.
Yeah, and now you're getting even more time to think. Hopefully tech issues don't frustrate them the way they frustrate me when I'm trying to get into games. But everyone seems ready and locked in. Match point for Gen G. And this is already a better retaliation from OG, because I think the last 2 times they met, OG was only able to take a game, and the score gap is always very wide. The OG either win by very small margins, or they get slapped by Gen G with a stronger gap in the goal department. So the fact that OG know how important this match is, they gotta stay calm no matter what it takes.
And I think OG does have that composure. All these players out on the pitch, veterans. I mean, they calm. You won the Gamers 8 event. Nolly winning the Fall Major. JNaps winning in Los Angeles. And obviously, Nolly's former teammates also then winning that Fall Major in Rotterdam. This is all these players out here. You know that they can handle the pressure. But it's more than just handling the pressure. It's about letting it fuel you to make those peak plays. That being the standout player, not just being reliable, but being that factor that makes the difference in the game. We know that all these players have that ability. We've seen glimpses from it by First Killer, especially in the first game. We also saw it from Calm with the ceiling shot, completely dusting Gen G. But now, Game 6, we'll see who steps up. Will it be someone from Gen G to close it out? Or will OG find that magic and force Game 7?
You got to appreciate the journey that OG have been on since the start of the split, of having a very disappointing early exit in Qualifier 1 to getting top 4, but not facing the top 2 in playoffs, your G2 or Gen G to make that top 4. But now that you're going up against some of the best here in this third qualifier, OG have to prove to everyone that they can be consistent. They not only belong in the top 4 always, but they have the potential to reach the top 2 and be a good representative for North America. Because this is going to be one of the matches they look back on, especially when studying their opponent or studying for Copenhagen. And there's a lot to look back on here, a lot to appreciate about OG. But Gen G, it's like, they've always been good. And now this is them starting to peak since they've gotten wins over G2. But we'll see if OG will take them the distance. And I wonder if that's going to impose any doubts. Because even Gibbs said on the desk, he's not sure that Gen G is #1 yet just because they beat G2.
That's a nice play there. You can see already OG struggling to deal with the pressure. And ultimately, Gen G scores first. Unbelievable pressure leading to that goal. And the all-out panic, and you think this might be the end of OG unless they can figure something out.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get organized here. I thought we were having a test lobby. This was a quick start there. Gen G getting that lead early off of first killer for sure. As usual, he's had top performances in every day of this regional so far. But OG know how to play from behind. Here's JNaps trying to make some magic happen and can't get through Chronic. But Nolly has been ready and now he's dead, and this midfield is for Gen G.
First killer looking for that ball movement that we saw early in game one. Nolly hoping to get some help, but there's the pass. Chronic waiting in the wings as well. This could be a counterattack. Ball falling nicely to Com. Looked for the demo and did find him. A first killer ready to get that back pass. Oh, that's a big bump though. The shot is saved by Chronic. Excellent effort. So OG not done just yet. That was an excellent effort, but they came up just short.
Oh, Com's gonna need some help. It's Gen G stop the midfield push. Jack puts on the pressure and first killer can't get the pass. Good send away from JNaps. But OG running on fuse. Now they've grabbed boost. They can start that pressure. But these clears from Gen G have been solid. OG haven't been able to really anchor themselves in that orange half really long the way that they did last game. See what happens now. JNaps not having any boost. Com neither. But JNaps wanted to bump on the Chronic, but he gets a touch on the ball in time.
This could be a good setup here. JNaps leaving it for Nolly, who has boost, and he does beat that first defender. See if OG can make the most out of this little ground that they've won, but apparently Jack is harassing the backline defender, and it might result in a goal, barely getting a piece of it. Chronic will play keep away, and we're less than half the way, or less than half the game to go, and OG really need to find something here. They have been getting pushed around by apparently Jack and Gen G.
At least OG break out of their own half, but with these challenges being won from Gen G in the midfield, the offense just keeps going. And it's looking deadlier by the second. JNaps hoping to follow through, but what a good catch from Chronic and dealing with players surrounding him. Chronic doesn't need space, but JNaps, that was a scary moment to win that 50, and Jack, that pillar in the backfield, saving that. There's less than 2 minutes to go, and match point for Gen G, and first killer and Chronic versus Com, and first killer doesn't need nobody else.
And this is what I was talking about, not just being reliable, but taking matters into your own hands and making plays happen. First killer started out the series doing it, and it looks like he might just end the series doing that same thing.
OG cannot go out with a whimper. They have to go out with a roar. And they're gonna try, as they can't even cross this midfield. It's been difficult. Gen G looked like they command all the real estate, but these passes are something to worry about. JNaps with the bouncer that Jack couldn't read. They're back.
And that's pure determination. Com with the touch. It was such a dangerous position that he's in because he could go for the fake. Gen G has no idea what Com is gonna do, and Com making the perfect play, feeding his teammate, and now they're back within striking distance.
It's not over. Gen G are only up by 1 in the series and a 1 in this game. No, OG, if they start connecting on those passes, those quick ones, that could be something for Gen G to worry about, and they had that talk in the timeout. You know they have to be quick on these 50s, and Gen G have been winning most of those. Maybe first killer set up, and Nolly makes the save. And with Com getting that demo, there's no rebound for Gen G, and the counterattack already killed as OG were trying their best to retaliate.
Nolly finds JNaps on the pass. JNaps gonna try to double this ball out. Doesn't make contact, and apparently Jack beats around 1, but Nolly there to send it back in. OG, I think now is when you start to pull the keeper, pull the goalie, send everything you have at Gen G. You're gonna have to take risks to close this gap.
We'll see if they will be rewarded, as Nolly may be over to JNaps. No, Jack and Chronic get it out. Another pass broken up by Gen G. Calm will try for the third time, 3 times the charm. Okay, JNeps with a chance, and Nolly with the tie!
OG with a big-time play at the final moment of the game. Nolly, who's been passing, scores with a shot that breaks the heart of Gen G, and now we are positioned for overtime, and there's a fake kickoff. It's a perfect one. Nolly sees JNeps off the ceiling. JNeps doesn't make contact. Still a chance now for Chronic. He goes to look for first killer. It's popped up. Nolly will keep this ball in play.
At least you get it out of Gen G's hands, and first killer moving forward. Calm keeps it up. JNeps by his side. They gotta play close as Jack with just a soft touch, but Nolly gets this on the ground, and we go to overtime in game 6.
It's a good kickoff, but Chronic with a massive win on the 50. No boost for Nolly. He gets a touch, but apparently Jack will pass it over to Chronic. Chronic off the backboard. Nice break up there from JNeps. And first killer keeps this ball in. OG starting to struggle. Chronic doesn't make contact on the ball, and now JNeps will try to pop this up for Calm.
Oh, this pressure from Gen G is getting scary. OG have control of their boost, but now not control of their cars when they're getting demoed. But Nolly keeps making these heroic saves. And OG get above water as JNeps looks to patrol this 50. Nolly off the backboard, fakes the double tap. And the shot not there, and this won't be going towards the net, but JNeps beats first killer there. Gen G look for any chance they can get. And this is a dangerous back wall touch.
Uh-oh.
And this goes to Jack, who's far forward. And Gen G, the Giants of North America, stay on top. The grand finals is their destiny, and they will not be denied.
Oh, Calm, he threw himself in there and lost that 50. And from there on, it was an open net there from apparently Jack, who did not miss out on that opportunity. A nail biter. We almost saw the play of maybe the split with the fake kickoff into the off-the-ceiling shot attempt from JNeps, but JNeps was not able to make contact. That would have been insane. OG showing heart, but Gen G ultimately able to get the better of them, and their solid run continues. I think, you know, I was saying it before, Lemon, it seems like this might be Gen G's tournament, and they pulled off a special win here against OG.
And massive respect to their opponent too. Like you said, that stressed all of us out. Gen G can now look forward to the grand final. Who awaits them is TSM and G2. And with that win from Gen G, this solidifies Luminosity to Copenhagen. And let's go check in with the desk.
OG make a great series out of it, but the former Kings of the North would not be stopped. Gen G are through to the grand finals, and they will wait for the results of our next match to see who they will play for that title. Tiebreaker's still a possibility. See if TSM can make it happen here. They got a long road to get there, but it is still very much in the cards. I'm Wavepunk. I got Mr. Gibbs. I got James. James, how'd you feel about that match, man?
I mean, it was a little bit interesting because it started out seeming like Gen G might pour out with how good they started. But then we saw some great resilience from OG, and then they had a beatdown on Gen G. And the series was tied, but the beatdown was so heavy that Gen G still called a timeout. So I thought OG really made a series out of it. I thought it was a really compelling game, but I still just cannot help but think, man, it's like, are we really just G2 and Gen G in North America?
I mean, Gibbs, I don't know how you feel. I feel like NA is healing. I feel like this was a good series. On a different day, it could have gone a different way.
Look, I agree with you. You know, look, I think OG has shown that they might just be that next team in North America. They put up a very close set. There was times when they would go a little bit too pass heavy and leave things open. But when you're going up against a great team, sometimes you have to take those chances, right? Where you're like, we've got to send it all to score on these guys. And it kind of happened in that Game 6 overtime as well, where, like, apparently Jack, he does finish them off. Apparently Jack had a great series, 1 goal per game. He only shot 1.5 shots per game. So scoring 1 goal, like he scored on 2 of every 3 of his shots. So Gen G looking fantastic. It was competitive. OG, though, they're looking pretty good to make the major. One thing to note, if you're a fan of Luminosity, congratulations. You are going to the major. They'll either be the 3 or 4 seed. We'll have to see how it all plays out. But now, TSM, it's time for them to put in some work to try and tie OG at the very least, or win the whole tournament and take away a spot.
If TSM make the grand finals here, they will tie with OG and force a tiebreaker match at the end of the day. If they win the grand finals, there will not be a tiebreaker match. They will have more points than OG. They will outright gain the 4th spot with an incredible run here in our 3rd qualifier. Congratulations to Luminosity as they have taken that top spot. It's now time to see, can TSM do it, or do all tiebreaker spots, all situations get secured here? Can G2 put it all to sleep? We'll see how it goes. So, man, great matchup incoming. TSM, they've had quite the run so far. James, does it continue on Championship Sunday?
I mean, it's going to be tough, but I think the bright side is that this has been the most beatable that G2 has looked. They finally lost to Gen G. They went the distance with Omelette as well. Very easily could have been beaten by Omelette. So I think TSM here does have a real chance. G2 has looked mortal, and Creams was so good, especially that clutch last play. You heard Desmond talk about it. You know, he was icy. He was just straight up icy. And TSM, you know, they've been a team that has been doubted for quite some time, but they continue to improve and continue their upward trajectory.
Yeah, TSM, the #1 defense throughout this tournament, giving up just 1.11 goals per game. Normally, that is G2 who's doing that. So G2 for the whole split is the #1 defense. TSM, though, because of this Qualifier 3, they are now the #2 defense across the entire split. And we saw G2 versus Omelette. Omelette played tons of defense, and G2 did not have an answer for it. They could not score pretty much any goals up until that final game where they put in 3. Tons of 1-0 games. So if TSM can keep it close and keep these games 1-0, just a few bounces. A few bounces have to go your way, and you could take the series.
You create a statistically likely scenario. You just might get it there. We'll see if they can do it, folks. And honestly, with the energy that they've been building, they might be able to control their destiny and not have it go down to chance on this one. What do you think? Hashtag TSM, hashtag G2. We can make our picks up here on the desk. I feel like there is a very clear favorite here. I don't even feel like it. I know there's a clear favorite here on paper and probably in chat as well. What is, I mean, you were just spelling out the recipe for TSM. Is there a specific player you're looking to, Gibbs, as you predict them, sir?
So I'm not biased to teams generally, but I am biased to chaos. All right, I want this tiebreaker. All right, I want to see another match today. I want TSM to win. They're gonna have to play great defense. Creams was doing a great job on the offensive side as well. So if he has his moments, we'll see what he can do. G2 though, they got to take that last game they played against Omelette and figure out how to do that every single game and get that offense moving. G2 obviously huge favorites here, but I'm voting for chaos.
James, he seems to have forgotten that if he were to have just predicted G2, it would have been a sweep, and he would have cursed them. It would have been more chaos. But I don't know what his problem is here. Our game is ready. Let's get into it, folks. It's time for a second semifinal. The winner of this faces Gen G in the grand finals. TSM versus G2 for a shot at the title.
TSM has a chance to not quite steal a spot in the major, but boy, it sure feels like it coming from way, way back. But they have to get through a team that has won both qualifiers so far. G2, while looking beatable, Daz, stand in TSM's way.
And TSM, though, they're having one of the best performances of their entire season, maybe even for them as a roster in a whole. They've taken down Titans to get to this point, but they've got to go up against a G2, and Beast Mode is going to set the tone. This is what you're going to have to go up against if you want to fight to make it to Copenhagen.
It's showtime, folks, and G2 are showing up on Sunday again, 9 seconds in. Beast Mode all over it. How does TSM respond?
Already, look, Beast Mode right back on the ball again, trying to set this up. We got to take this game by game if you're TSM. First things first, you're going to get a taste of what that G2 offense looks like. How are you going to be able to respond to that? Possession, big factor. G2 already has TSM looking uncomfortable here right off the start, but it's still been a one-goal game first 30 seconds, all G2 as we get things kicked off.
G2 trying to play the role of fun police. You go back to that first qualifier, they looked out of sorts on Saturday, and then all of a sudden, it was this dominant G2. And we're seeing a mirror image of that right here. Daniel adds to the tally, and it's all G2 early.
Demos on the back end, panic touches, everything going wrong here for TSM at the start. Lots of time left here in game, but this is definitely not the right thing for the opener. We haven't really even seen what they look like on offense yet. Literally everybody on G2 getting involved in that shooting department. Daniel and Beast Mode with a goal, Atomic with an assist. 4 minutes remaining. Let's see what TSM can do here. Here's Wavy on the ball. Takes this one up high. Maybe have a chance here. Tries to leave it for Hockey, was looking for the double, but just wasn't enough.
Those are the opportunities they're going to have to convert. You're not going to get very many of them, even though G2 have allowed more scoring opportunities than in the past. There's a chance, and Hockey could not get to it in time. It goes wayward. G2 let off the hook. Can they get out of the zone and end this attack? Yes, they can. Beast Mode up to the ceiling. One more touch to leave it in front. Daniel for Atomic, and Daniel gets the last touch. G2 keeps rolling.
And this, again, just G2 having that counterattack. They worked so efficiently. Daniel didn't even touch that. Atomic had the goal locked in, but we'll get one on the way out. TSM, though, when they're on offense, when they're in front, we saw 2 opportunities back-to-back. Hockey with the shots, both missing opportunities. Depending on how this game goes, you might not get too many more of that. TSM have to be effective. We're seeing signs of it. Hockey will finally hit the mark. TSM on the board.
Opportunities have been there, and G2 hasn't stopped many quality chances this whole weekend. So TSM have to play with a little bit more confidence and understand if we can at least get the ball in front, we got a shot. So they get one on the board here. Still a lot of Rocket League to go. It is still G2 on the other side. Hockey lets the midfield boost go. Wavy can take it. It's pinned at the back wall. Wavy comes in. Because he grabbed the midfield boost, he can get into the play, and it's a 1-goal game.
But that's what you want to see out of TSM, being able to respond back, right? Get the possession off the kickoff. Everything works out well. Hockey ended up getting that one touch that threw the defense off, follow-up demo, and Wavy coming through to clean it up. TSM not slowing down despite G2 hitting them with hard offense.
Daniel will try to right the ship here for G2. Not happening. Hockey's in the way. Atomic will take his time. Hockey there to kind of force him off the play. Now beast mode up top, and nobody's there except Wavy. TSM have the momentum now as we get to the midway point of game one. That almost waterfalled down into a scoring position. Now Hockey trying to get through beast mode, won't happen, and things settle down a little bit more now for G2 and for TSM for that matter.
Yeah, you're right. Things are starting to slow down. Still have to be careful, though. G2 still going to be creative, still going to be aggressive. But halfway through this game, you start to see TSM's ability of resistance. Back into this one and still not slowing down. That's a big win from Creams. It won't go in, but it will force beast mode and the rest of G2 to fall back. Chance here, a lot of big scrambling here on the goal line as Hockey tries to set it up for Wavy, but the G2 defense will knock it over to the side corner.
Yeah, Wavy was so far back as Creams now will have to just kind of roll that off to the side and make Atomic work from the wing. He can, hits Daniel, perfect placement for 2.
And this one again, TSM on that rotation back. Hockey does get set, but once he realizes where Atomic's putting the ball, he backflips. Daniel hits the mark. You can't afford to make mistakes when G2's on that offense. They're going to challenge you every single time.
Just keeps on coming here. Daniel's got a hat trick in game one. Lead is back to 2. TSM going right back to work, though. They send it in. Right back out it comes. Hockey now back into the zone. One more touch needed. He won't get it. Creams was trying to take Daniel out along the back wall. And then Creams and Atomic trade demos at midfield, so back it goes. Wavy now has Atomic coming in. Oh, my God. You talk about absolutely not respecting the opponent. Atomic just took his lunch money and stuffed him in a locker.
He was up so early, Stacks. He jumped from his own box. He had that all day. He was not letting you take your time. And that's what TSM have to understand. This G2 roster will deny space. They don't want you to control the ball. They don't want you to have fun. And you got to fight that the entire way through.
Game on. Beast mode looking for more, and Creams will have that out to the wing, but only as far as Atomic. I mean, G2 have established dominance here in game one. TSM made it a game for a while, and they still could get another couple of quick ones. But man, oh man, we're seeing Sunday G2 at its finest. Daniel, double, drops down for Atomic, everybody retreats. G2 realizing, okay, maybe we don't need a 6th, as that one goes well wide from Hockey.
But that backboard is being too free here for G2, and they are going to utilize it as much as they can. Lots of back and forth action. You can tell just from where TSM are position-wise, they're just trying to keep up here at this point. But they've got to remain locked into their game plan here as well. Big gap in the score line here as we hit that final minute. Missed touches on the back end. Atomic almost picked up another one, but Wavy picked up the save.
Daniel avoids Wavy. He's got beast mode behind him. May not need him. The shot just a little bit wide. Now beast mode will disrupt the clearance effort. It's only a question now of whether or not G2 will get a 6th goal. This one, all doubt has been erased from game number 1. But we have seen kind of the prohibitive favorites, right? Gen G and G2 so far today. Maybe a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde thing going on. I mean, Gen G looked dominant in one of their games, and then all of a sudden OG took over. Maybe this semifinal will take on a similar shape. TSM fans certainly hope so. OG fans could do without it. G2 takes game 1.
They take game 1 in a dominant fashion here as well. 13 shots out of them that game. TSM had 7. But the way they controlled the pace from the jump is the most important thing. They've let TSM know this is what we're coming out with. You're going to expect this level of aggression the entire way through. Got to be ready for it. We've seen a little bit of mind games here and there from TSM. They're trying to see how they can get around the defense. But like you saw, especially from that dunk from Atomic earlier, sometimes G2 just aren't going to wait. They'll play the ball. They'll force you to make a decision. And sometimes that can lead to some mistakes on the back end. But one thing that was good for TSM was the fact that we saw them with multiple scoring opportunities. And if they can continue to keep up that level of play against G2, get them a little uncomfortable on the back end, maybe a couple of more demos with the physicality, it could lead to them being much more competitive. But a strong opener here from G2, letting TSM know you're not getting out of this without a fight.
Ice Creams melted there in that first game. He was so clutch in the quarterfinal series. Not so much this time around. Game 1, a polar opposite of what we saw out of him yesterday against M80. Creams has to get going, I think, especially here for TSM because of how important he was against M80. He had 5 goals along with Joria's on the other side. He matched a kind of almost a career day out of Joria's. They need that kind of Creams to show up now against G2. Otherwise, this could be a very short series for TSM. Again, TSM wins here. They at least get a tiebreaker and a chance to clinch a spot outright. G2 wins, OG will claim that 4th spot representing North America in Copenhagen. So we get ready now for game 2. And TSM, having dropped the first game 5-2 to G2, you wouldn't fault them on any other day, but this day is do or die. We go to the iconic backdrop of DFH Stadium, of course, for game 2. Let them roll.
Big off goes to Daniel. He gets a free solo off of this one, plays it high toward the ceiling. Atomic was trying to run interference. Got the redirect, beast mode, top corner. G2 in full control off the kickoff.
G2 first blood any percent. He just broke his record from the last game 1 second sooner. I don't know how you contend with this. 3 out of Daniel, 2 out of beast mode. Atomic's got 4 assists. Good luck. TSM have to find an answer. Maybe down 2, but Creams makes that save. See if G2 can keep the pressure on here in the first minute yet again. They came out of that first minute in game 1 with a pair of goals with similar pressure. Daniel almost got one there, but Wavy and it looked like Creams combined to send that downfield. Creams is there and let that one go by. Hockey, Creams, netward, but high.
Yep, just a little high, but this is good for TSM. He's having that ball on G2 side. I say that for a moment, but here go G2 trying to crash the net. Wavy will get a little bit of interference, and Atomic, he just picked up this mid boost, so he'll go up here, takes it off the ceiling. Creams tries to get up to meet him, can't stop him. Daniel will find the goal, and G2 strike again.
I mean, if not for the different background, I'd have thought this is a literal carbon copy of game 1.
They don't
just
respect
keep doing
him. You can tell. Like, for Daniel to go up close to the box like that, like, what a challenge out of Daniel. G2 are playing as if this is just their game, their series, and it feels like they just know it from the jump.
Almost like they're in their comms. Creams from the middle. He's not going to have a whole lot to work with here, but he set up Hockey. And Daniel just has that one easily away. G2 hold all the cards here. It's on TSM to bring the game at them. Did get a couple goals back in game 1. And then it was all G2 again. Almost like, okay, you punch them, they go down. His wavy shot is blocked away at point blank range. You think, okay, you're done. Then TSM starts to get back up, and G2's like, all right, we'll knock you down again. That's how game 1 went. See how game 2 shapes out. Here comes Wavy and Hockey. Daniel got around the demo attempt, makes the save. Here comes G2.
Oh, good bump there to slow things down, but even Daniel still trying to get a redirect there on the play. Wavy and Daniel trade demos, so Hockey will play this one up. He has, I believe, Creams on that right side. He just picked up that mid boost, but it doesn't matter. Hockey now. Oh, actually, he's on his rotate back. I was looking at Atomic trying to pick up the ball. He's had Daniel there in the midfield. Wavy, though, trying to run interception and got a 50 towards the goal line. Not enough for TSM here. And G2 start to move forward. People forget, G2 trying to be the first team in NA to go 3 for 3 in regional events here in a split. Starting here off hot, and they're trying to keep that momentum moving forward. They look like a well-oiled machine at this point, halfway through the game. Will they get their 3rd goal? Daniel says yes, as he smacks it back home.
Too good. Absolutely too good. Make it 5 out of the 8 goals now for G2, coming from Daniel. Halfway mark of game 2. I mean, almost certainly a timeout from TSM coming if they even want to use it. As Wavy will throw it at the corner. Beast Mode's got that red over top of Creams. G2 with more possession. And I mean, this is clinical at this point.
It is. This is starting to get away. I mean, G2 so far, first couple of games have hit that 3-goal mark. First game was 5. Second game, I mean, there's still a chance. That's not going to go in. Wavy will get there in time, but you can feel it on the side of TSM, even knowing that they have the major hopes on the line. They've been playing the best Rocket League they've ever played, and they go into G2, and it's like hitting a brick wall. They have no way to get through right now. They have been scoreless all game 2.
I understand in a certain light, yes, it can be boring watching the same team win everything over and over and over again. But man, you can't help but appreciate when you see dominance on this level, like we're seeing out of G2. They have come alive here. And all of a sudden, every Sunday, it has been lights out from G2. Daniel tried to pinch that downfield, didn't get a lot behind it, but enough that Beast Mode could play it. Beast and Daniel take it out. They didn't get Atomic, so he slows it down. They're back into the play. Creams goes low. Hockey, try to center for Creams, and Atomic recovers. Shut the door, stopped Wavy as well. G2 hold TSM scoreless to the final minute of game 2.
Demo's on the back. Here's Hockey all alone, trying to see if he can muster up something, some way TSM can get this game going in their favor. They've been able to get that possession up a little bit more, but it hasn't yielded anything worth noting. And again, when G2 bring the ball back to the blue end, you start to see a little bit of scramble, you see a little bit of mistakes, and you almost see G2 goals. Most of them have gone in. Atomic trying to get the light touch to Daniel. Wavy will control it, Creams in the air, has to get it past Daniel, does do so. Got the double, Wavy, no, a little too slow on that one. Beast Mode will get the clearance.
TSM have had 6 shots. It's not like they've been completely frozen out of the zone. A couple other good scoring opportunities, but they have not found the mark. They have not cracked through the G2 defense. And now the final 10 seconds. Beast Mode, try to drop it down. Hockey out to Wavy. Doesn't matter if G2 gives one up at this point, but they're just that desperate to dominate the other team that they won't. 3-0, the scoreline in game 2. Daniel goes off again, and G2 are halfway to knocking out TSM.
G2 are just that good. We knew this, but even now, you begin to see it more and more. And we know what they're going for here. To show people that they are definitively #1 in NA. TSM, this has been a beating, but they're not out just yet. Tactical timeout from TSM, chance to try to see if they can slow G2 down, but also so they can figure out their own game plan, because they were shut out in game 2.
Yeah, they get an extra minute or so here to just kind of talk things over and maybe even try to cool off G2. Like, okay, G2 almost operating like a machine. I know you're gonna roll your eyes, Daz, because you hear Bates say it all the time now, but that is how G2 has operated here for the first couple of games. It needed a little reboot early on in game 1, and then it's been free-flowing since then. So now they've got to reset, does TSM. Still very much in this series. It's only 0-2, but you come out of this timeout and you go down 0-3. You need 4 in a row against this team. By the way, B-Mode actually has the G2 jersey this time, not the version 1 shirt. And yeah, TSM needs 4 in a row against G2. How do they do it, Daz?
You're asking me how to beat G2. Well,
hey, you're the brains of this operation.
I mean, one of the things about like TSM, right? They're very new to this matchup here, but one of the things you look at G2's history on teams, again, keeping the ball close, but also playing for each other, playing for that physicality, understanding like it is a team game at the end of the day. It's going to be huge here. We have seen G2 make errors. Sometimes we've seen them make unforced errors due to overwhelming pressure, but that you have to get there at that point first. You have to be able to have consistent pressure on G2. If you're just going to have a couple of offensive challenges and then pull off, and they get space in the midfield, you're going to get those transitional counterattacks, you're going to get your backboard tested, and you're also going to get someone trying to demo you or bump you to get you uncomfortable. Here we go.
That did not look like a team that has 2 more games left in their split, or they missed the major. The vibes immaculate out of TSM. Can they translate that into any goals whatsoever against G2? 2 games left to find it.
I see it. Vibes are high, and I mean, it's the first 5 minutes on the clock. Wavy starts this one off here. Beast Mode trying to get in front. They cut off the space. Atomic has an open net, and it's another G2 goal. G2's vibes are high as well. Look at this. Just immediately picking the pockets of TSM. Beast Mode had that all the way as he gave it to Atomic.
Service with a smile. They opened the door and let G2 right through. It took 19 seconds this time, but Atomic gets the first goal. Beast Mode still involved with his second assist. Just more of the same. G2 strike first. And now Beast Mode just taking that one away from Hockey. Let's go over towards Creams. Daniel up and out, makes the stop. Now Hockey, he'll let this come to ground. Beast Mode dives in from the sky. I mean, G2 are giving no respect whatsoever to TSM, and they continue to stop them.
Pushing and pushing. They're not letting up off the gas. Atomic to the Beast. It's just in the net almost every time. Last time it was Beast Mode to Atomic. This time he repays the favor.
Scorpion Deathlock locked in. 2-0 now in the series, 2-0 in game 3. Hockey couldn't follow this play up, so Wavy has to. Then you'll get a second touch here. Yes, Hockey read it, but can't get anywhere near the net. So here goes Atomic with Creams up to meet him. He just goes over top. Daniel redirect back in front. Hockey read the play. That's great. They can defend, kind of. They can't get any offense going. Wavy will try. Got a lead blocker. Got a demo. Atomic taken out. That goes off the crossbar. Creams has the follow. He's come alive, and TSM are on the board.
The way G2's defense is set, I thought this was going to get saved. Even though Beast Mode missed the initial touch, he actually almost had it, but Creams got there first. TSM pick up one off the counter. Now, can they continue to build here? This is still a lot of time in game 3, even though it looked like G2 controlled the pace. TSM has got one.
They got a chance here. All three forward. Beast Mode with the save, clearing that out to the wing. Creams doing all he can to keep it alive. Hockey fresh off that demo of Atomic. Still can't get into the play. Daniel serve it up. Atomic's up in the air as well. And Wavy with the save. Still a one-goal game as Wavy goes to work across midfield. Cut out by Daniel, and Beast Mode has the save in front of the net. Nobody else to follow this up. Now, that's not a great touch out of G2, but everybody nowhere near the ball for TSM, and it leads to a goal out of Beast Mode.
And this happens because of a double commit in the offensive end. Now everybody's trying to get back, no boost. Wavy goes up first, and it's just a lead for Beast Mode. Beast Mode, perfect shot there. He's been playing phenomenal in game 3.
One of the things we've always said about Atomic throughout his career, even going back to the NBA days, he's always been one of the best setup men in the league. He's got 7 assists near the midway point of game 3 of this series. Tell you what, when you got Daniel and Beast Mode with you, yeah, you're gonna rack up A's, but this is crazy. That's Hockey though in the air, and he's got him back within 1.
It's good to see TSM giving the counterpunch. 3-person pass play. Creams to Wavy, Wavy to Hockey, speed test, and he beat the Beast. TSM is within 1 with plenty of time to go.
As great as G2 have looked, TSM hanging with them now. An important kickoff that's taken by Atomic before he gets demolished. Beast Mode and Creams go 50, and it goes back out to midfield. Atomic ended up going low and off to the side. Hockey, can he line it up? No, Daniel recovers and keeps the lead intact.
G2 a little bit overextensions here on offense, and TSM have punished them more than once for it. They almost got the equalizer there again. Now you got to start paying attention to G2's positioning. That's a good shot from Creams, forcing Daniel out. You're starting to see TSM come alive here. We hit the bottom half of game 3.
And G2 hasn't, throughout this weekend, as compared to previous weekends, they haven't saved a particularly high percentage of shots that they've allowed. Unfortunately for TSM, it's a little bit different G2 this time around. Hockey and Daniel race to this ball in the air. Beast Mode will take over. Atomic waiting, got the pass to him, but Atomic pushed it wide, and Hockey made sure to grab that corner boost so Atomic couldn't steal it. Daniel and Beast Mode, they've connected for so many over the past couple of years, not this time. And now Hockey trying to get this away from Beast Mode. He has. And what else can TSM do but just watch G2 bring it right back at him?
Yeah, they're no strangers to playing close here on the offense, but I almost think sometimes they play a little too close. Good play there for Beast Mode. Atomic pre-jumped the pass. Beast Mode almost had to follow. Daniel trying to get involved now, but a good 50 here. Can TSM turn this into something? Wavy, that touch gets so far away from him. He was looking for a bump on beast mode, but couldn't connect. Now Hockey's getting bumped on the back end. Cream's last back. Strong 50, big 50 to stop Atomic there as well, keeping it a one-goal game. Exactly what TSM needs as they try to get on the board. Hockey shot blocked out by Daniel. TSM trying to turn things around as the time ticks down.
All right, Daniel was headed right to left across the goal, but he slammed the brakes on, realized where the shot was going. It was placed brilliantly, but Daniel was better, and then beast mode might have put it out of reach.
The game was moving so fast, Beast Mode slowed it down at the right time. Everyone's expecting a shot from him. He gets the light touch to get everybody jumping, and then banks the goal. Beast Mode, big time play. That's a hat trick for him.
And where Daniel had been the star of the first couple of games, he doesn't have a goal in this game, hasn't needed to. May get one as time runs down here, but Beast Mode continues to add to his impressive tally. Make it 6 in the series for him. Daniel picks up, by the way, his first assist, as they're just stat padding at this point.
You talk about how Daniel will sometimes have a game. When Beast Mode has a game, it's very evident. You're seeing it on all sides of the ball. 3 saves, he's shooting 4 for 7. He's got an assist here as well with the pass that he gave to Atomic, and he's been a threat when he's been up on top of the ball and sometimes off ball as well. Beast Mode having a game, shuts down a lot of hopes here of TSM coming big here off the timeout. 30 seconds remaining, down by 3, no timeouts left. Things continue at this pace. They go down, match point, and they have to reverse sweep a G2 who has scored at least 3 goals a game on them.
After so many one-goal games, that one just pushed wide as well. There have been now, when this clock hits 0, unless they give up a cheap one here, of course, ruin my numbers, sure. TSM will get one with 3 seconds left. But there have been now, what, 5 blowouts today after all those one-goal games yesterday. This one would have been another 3-goal game. Now it looks like a 2-goal deficit when things finally settle. But G2 has been on another level. And now they've got quadruple match point. Oh, they may still get one anyways. They do not. Doesn't matter. G2, 4 shots at eliminating TSM.
For TSM to have that timeout, come right out of it, and G2 immediately gets on the scoring lines. You start to really think, man, the hopes of chaos, the hopes of the TSM having that dream run, everything's starting to dwindle away. If you're an OG fan, this is exactly what you want to see, though. Take a look at our Mobile 1 high-performance replays, but it really should just be the Beast Mode highlight reel. The way he was so impactful here in this game. Offensively, a monster. Defensively, great stops as well. And, of course, he had help there, too. Atomic with a couple of assists and a goal of his own. Even Daniel getting involved. G2, once again, they're 1 game away from the grand finals against Gen G. What do TSM, do they have anything left here? They've been playing so good, but right now, it's just not showing against G2. And that's just a testament to how good G2 is.
I mean, they've got to come out ready to weather the storm in the first minute. Every single game, G2 has started with a 2-0 lead coming out of that first 60 seconds. It has been a clinic throughout this series. 5-2, 3-0, 5-3. TSM turn it around, they're gonna have to. We came into yesterday thinking about a possible 6-way tiebreaker, and it didn't seem impossible by any stretch. And now we're looking at, nope, no tiebreakers, JK LOL, it's just Gen G and G2 again.
Great start, though. No goals scored in the first 10 seconds, first 30 seconds. You like to see it. And Cream's laying out with no hockey misdirection because Wavy, he's got the shot, and TSM strike first.
TSM's got its first lead of this afternoon. Hockey realized he couldn't get to it, didn't try to do too much, left it for Wavy. Well done for TSM. And finally, it's not G2 stake to a 2-goal lead. Now can TSM add to it? Off the kickoff, got it going the right way. Wavy, he might have tried to leave it for Hockey. Then Hockey turned off at the last moment, and it just turned into complete discombobulation for TSM.
and they cannot let those go. Not at this stage. They're at the lead right now, but we know G2's offensive output. If things continue for G2, if that average continues from the series, TSM still got to get 2 more. Here's Beast Mode, trying to start things off. Daniel on the wing, gonna try to get that to Atomic. Great challenge for him, immediately goes. Wavy picked up the boost, but he got demoed. So now, no one able to receive this clear except for Daniel. Daniel waiting here, plays it low, tries to wrap it around the net. Atomic got the demo on Wavy, who was in the net, but Daniel wasn't able to push it netward. Now G2 still 0 game, and here we go. Wavy with a flick on the back end. We'll see if TSM can keep the ball on the orange half.
Was a great setup attempt there by Beast Mode, and now he's going to try to score it on the other side, and Wavy with the save on the left side. Hockey and Atomic both go by. Daniel stops Creams in his tracks and then checked him right into the wall again. This goes all the way across. Hockey will have it, but oh, that's well done to get that back to Wavy. And look at Creams! Oh, mercy!
Are you kidding me? He took the boost, saw Wavy with the pass, jumped on the ceiling, and got the reset activated. What a play from Creams! That's exactly what you need when your back's against the wall.
That a top play enough for you? My gosh. Hockey, try to go for more. No, he's left it for Creams, or maybe he just completely whiffed. Beast Mode over towards Daniel, and G2 get one back. It's Daniel back on the scoring side.
G2 not out of this just yet. Look at Beast Mode in traffic to get it to Daniel, and just enough power that the defense cannot react in time here. Even with that stun over play from TSM, G2 get one back as they're still trying to close things out here.
I mean, G2, Cream scored a worldie. Okay, guys, let him have one. Good grief. Hockey kicked it back out, and Creams couldn't quite connect. Wavy, able to grab that midfield boost. How important is that going to be? He's got possession. He can chase this down with Beast Mode trying to sit on that corner boost. And now Hockey has Creams in position. A high bouncer off that challenge, easily taken away by Atomic. TSM not overextending. They know how dangerous G2 can be. Of course, you also can't just play passive and let them get 10, 15 shots. They will bury you. Daniel looking for Atomic, but he's turned back. Now he'll circle back around, and Creams will have that away. Hockey thought about it and realized, you know what? Maybe more token pressure rather than diving in.
Yeah, he didn't have any boost anyways. There wasn't much he could do there. Now turns and tries to give it to Wavy. Wavy tried to wrap around it, wants to get a better shot on target, but him and Hockey both demoed, so G2 now controlling the ball in the air, playing it all the way back to the blue back wall again. Atomic got a bump here on Wavy, and is trying to look for more ways to intercept. He's trying to get a bump on Creams in the back end while this ball's just floating in midfield. Beast Mode doesn't have too many options, so opts to go for a back pass to Daniel. Daniel with a strong clearance is going to force Wavy to jump and take this, and TSM once again trying to hold on as G2 looking for a way through to see if they can equalize.
Decent ball forward there out of TSM, but again, nobody diving forward. Again, they've got the lead. They're trying so hard not to overextend, and it's a fine line to walk. Late challenge there from Creams. Daniel's shot is sent wayward. Now Wavy for Hockey, perhaps. He's also up. They're both on the left side, waiting for someone to take charge. That someone is Daniel. It's G2. Here they come again. Creams finally deleted. They've been trying to demo him for a while, and they finally take him out, but it's still TSM on the attack. Final minute now of game 4. Must win in many ways for TSM, and Wavy might have just maybe secured it. It's certainly a cushion they very much needed.
Good little wave dash there from Wavy, able to get it past Atomic. TSM now, big position for them. Final minute, up by 2. They've held G2 to a single goal. Oh my goodness, I say that in Daniel. Oh, he's got it off the kickoff. TSM, you can't let it slip away. G2 are within 1 now.
Yeah, they had insurance, but the house had it. G2 are right back within 1, and it only took them a matter of seconds. This will be the longest 57 seconds for TSM. Beast Mode up the ladder. Here we go again. He's got help across. It's Daniel again.
No way. Beast Mode with the playmaker. He's got 3 assists. It's been beast to Dan the entire game. We all know what Dan can do, and he is showing it here. Back to back for G2 and TSM. They were going into the final minute with a 2-goal lead. It's now anybody's game. Their major hopes could dwindle right here, right now.
OG fans kind of raise their eyebrows again like, oh, wait a minute. It could happen here. 35 seconds. Wavy lets that go so he can play it forward. Daniel cuts him off. And all of a sudden, TSM have to find yet another answer. Cream's out, Hockey out, Wavy all alone. That goes over to the corner where Hockey would respond, and he got a piece of that as well, but Atomic stole the corner boost. Creams comes up empty. Wavy downfield, and Atomic has that out to the side. Another shot from Hockey, saved away by Beast Mode. Chance now for TSM, though, with time running down. Wavy, nothing doing, cut out by Daniel.
They still want to keep this up, but Beast Mode will let it hit the ground. Overtime in game 4. TSM must-win situation if they want to reverse sweep G2. G2 just have to score 1 more, and they go on to the grand finals. Will we see it here? No. Daniel's play is blocked out by Hockey.
Beast Mode up to the skies. Creams stops him there. TSM need to get out of their own zone because G2 have been deadly. Daniel just lob it up to the backboard again. And Wavy gets that away, but not out of the zone. They just keep on coming. TSM going to have their hands full here. They've got to be nearly perfect here in this overtime. Beast Mode to the corner. It's Atomic leaving it for Daniel. Creams and Hockey on the backboard. Wavy challenges. Creams got it away, but only as far as Atomic. They just cannot escape.
Finally get a little bit of room here, but for how long? Daniel off the ceiling trying to 50. Wavy does get the 50. Hockey and Atomic trade demos, so Creams trying to get the game winner, but it's blocked away from Beast Mode. Huge goal line save from Mode. Keeps this game alive here for G2. TSM were so close to being able to force a game 5. Chance here for a pass. Wavy gonna slam that one straight to Daniel. He picks this all the way up off the back wall, brings it right back to midfield. Daniel, no way! One into the other! Daniel finishes the job! What a play from G2! They take this series in a sweep!
Daniel, coast to coast. Ball game. Series over. G2 to yet another final. And the three-peat hopes alive for G2 Stride.
That was incredible. For Daniel to not only have to jump to get that save out, but takes it, picks it up, and then just has the entire field to work with, gets a flick over the last defender and in to end the series, especially with how well TSM are playing. My goodness. G2 look in prime form today as they are 1 series away from being the first team in NA to take all 3 regional events within a split.
You remember yesterday when they couldn't score on Omelette? How about these score lines? Daniel scores 9 goals. Beast Mode adds 6. Atomic goes 2 goals and 7 assists. And it all leads up to G2 having a shot to go 3 for 3 as a couple of other teams have had the chance to go around the world. G2, Gen G in the finals again next.
them had the performance of their season up until this point, where they played against G2, Stride, Beast Mode, Atomic, and Daniel. Pretty much cleaned up house in that series. And once again, G2 move on to the grand finals. But we're not here to talk about G2 right now. We're here to talk about OG, because they've actually clinched major because of the G2 win. I'm here with Com right now. Com, how does it feel to make a major? This is your first time being at a major since Rotterdam.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I didn't make a single RLCS LAN in all of 2023, and I'm beyond excited to be back. I know, I've had the potential this entire time. I know that I should have made those LANs, and I'm happy that I made it here with this squad. A team that I'm happy to be with now. I'm happy to be with OG as an organization, and I have a lot of faith in us going forward.
That's great. What was it like? Obviously, your major run after the loss of Gen G was dependent on that series. How was it in your guys' camp watching that series? Yeah,
it was great. I mean, I messaged Beast Mode last night. I'm like, you better win tomorrow, otherwise I'm gonna, it's on site. But yeah, no, we were watching. We had faith in them the entire time we were watching, except Naps, who we kicked out of the room because every time we watched, they got scored on. So he was not allowed to watch. But yeah, no, that was great. It's crazy to think, it's been almost a year since me, Tor, and Beast Mode were on V1, and Beast Mode's still putting us in the backpack.
Yeah, and you guys made it here. That's actually really funny. But you guys made it here, and then looking at your guys' split, not the best start, but then you just battle back. A lot of teams going into the split had you top 4. You end up filling in that spot due to a little bit of magic happening, but also due to how good you guys are performing. Now you're going to go to this event and play against the best in the world. I mean, are you guys prepared for it? Are you ready for it? You said it's been a long time, but I want to hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely. In our minds, we know we have the potential to be the best team in the world. We have no doubt of that. We showed part of that, I think, in part of the Gen G series today. We know we have that potential, and it's just about, working out the kinks. We're a new team. We got to figure out how to maximize playing how we want to play. And we're beyond excited to go to the LAN and show that we can do it against teams from other regions too.
That's great to hear, and especially from you guys as a roster. You talk about how you guys had all formed, all players who have come from teams that were, kind of storied in their own right, their own respective way. I mean, how much does this mean to you, specifically being able to perform on the stage in front of your fans again?
I think it means a lot to me, because I came from a team where I didn't receive all that much credit. I don't think any of us received any credit for the most part on the other teams. There was always other star players that had a lot of the credit given to them, and I think it is very validating for myself to know that I don't need to be on that team in order to do it. I can do it with another roster. I can do it with other players that, you look at us, people say we don't have a star player, and that's, not strictly true. We all have the ability to play like a star player. We just never did because we had other people that were doing that on our teams. We all had that potential. We all have that ability. Just we never had to show it. We always, played our roles. We did it well because we're all players that are comfortable with doing that. We don't have ego. We can work together. And I think that's going to be our biggest strong suit going forward, is that we're all able to learn from our losses and our wins, and keep working on how we're playing as a team.
And I love to see it. The way that you guys are performing definitely shows that your words hold true. Now, of course, going to give you some time to go and celebrate, but before we let you go, final thoughts, anything you want to say to your friends or fans that are watching?
Yeah, thanks for all the support. It's been a bumpy past year for me, like I said. I'm happy to finally be back out here. Hopefully I can put on a show for you guys at LAN.
Com, congratulations. We'll see you in Copenhagen, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, man.
The 4 teams from North America are set. We have Gen G, G2, Luminosity, and OG representing North America at Copenhagen at the end of month. We have all of them except for Europe set here too, Gibbs.
Yeah. We have Furia and Complexity also just clinched in South America. Congrats to them. But now it's time for a show match. Who is the best in North America? Yeah. G2 just showed that they figured out their offensive problems. They put up 4.25 goals per game throughout the series versus the #1 defense in the tournament. what even happened? TSM, they were at 1.11 goals against per game. From this series alone, 1.68 goals per game now, and they're the number 4 defense. They moved way, way back. G2 has found their form that we all expected from them after what they showed in Qualifier 1 and 2, but Gen G also looks better than Qualifier 1 and 2. So now, sure, the seeds are locked. Number 1 is G2.
Yep.
Number 2 is Gen G. But the pride and the power rankings and all of that, that will skew based on this match here, Gen G versus G2.
And our region leaders graphic at the top, you can see all teams are locked into the major as well as their seeding locked there, except for Europe. They will decide all of that next weekend. We'll get to see it played there. But, I mean, I love this OG roster. I loved this OG roster when they announced stacks, and you kind of heard Com referring to it there at the beginning. They were all 3 players who were overlooked, overshadowed on their previous rosters, coming together and showing that really that having that strong back line, having 3 players that know how to do that is so much more, maybe more important than having a flashy star player up at the front.
Yeah, it was kind of the bane of Noli's existence, right? Because First Killer would get all the credit for, not First Killer. Apparently Jack would get all the credit for everything that happened on Gen G. J-Naps would never get any credit because he had Atomic and Chicago with him. And, of course, Com would never get any credit for anything he did with Beast Mode and Daniel. And now you bring them all 3 together. I've always said, guys, it's not about having the best or the flashiest player. It's about having the right player. And the 3 right players are all together here with OG.
They've got it all locked up, folks, but their tournament run does end today. They are out, and Gen G has moved forward. Our grand finals, you can't see the names, but the teams are there anyways. G2 versus Gen G Mobile 1 Racing, a rematch from Qualifier number 1. Gen G won this match the last time they played on Friday, but in the season, G2 holds the head-to-head 2-1. All time, by the way, Gen G actually holds the head-to-head 5-4, but completely different rosters last season to this season, almost not comparable at this point. You know, G2 still with so much firepower here.
And G2 Gen G, like G2 dominated them in Qualifier 1 and Qualifier 2, and that was in the bracket where Gen G scored 3 goals in 5 games, 3 goals in 4 games versus G2's defense. But on Friday, in the 2-0 round in Swiss, Gen G found their form, scoring 13 goals in 5 games versus G2. So Gen G's firing on all cylinders. G2, after watching that TSM match, they're firing on all cylinders. So this one is going to be a classic, Stacks.
Yeah, this is a carbon copy of what we saw on that first weekend, right? You had a Gen G team that was flying high. All right, 3 goals a game. We're dominating everybody. Cool. G2, Daniel in beast mode through Friday and Saturday. Couldn't get out of each other's way. It looked a little weird. So Gen G has to be the favorite, right? No. Sunday, G2 shows up, and they utterly dominated Gen G, as you mentioned. And now you have G2 should be penalized for bringing 2 different teams into every tournament, because you've got Friday, Saturday, and then you've got the Sunday G2.
And G2 trying to make history here, trying to be the first time ever, like in North America, to win all 3 tournaments in a split. They won't get the perfect record for the entire split because of that Friday loss, but that's the one no one actually cares about. They just care if you win the entire tournament. So G2 trying to write history here.
It's a fun one, but let's get through the have one team win all 3 before we have one team do it perfectly. We'll see if they can pull it off here. Do you think they will, chat? Let us know. Hashtag G2, hashtag GGM1 if you're thinking Gen G's got this one. Are any of us gonna ride with the current momentum, or are all of us going with the tried and true history? Do we think G2's got it? Do we think Gen G's got it, gentlemen? Oh my goodness, Gibbs, you're not going to keep doing it.
I'm going
man.
for it.
You keep on giving it to G2.
I like, this is a coin toss, all right? This much. So I did write this pick in before I just saw what G2 did versus TSM, so I am questioning my pick a little bit more, but I do think right now what we see out of Gen G looks like the team I thought we would see back in Qual 1 and Qual 2, so I think they can pull it off. I think everyone's hoping for Champions Field. Yes, this doesn't matter that much in terms of points, but there's prize money, there's pride on the line, and I want to see these 2 teams duke it out.
I mean, it's going to be a crazy one here. We're pretty split here on the desk, but Stacks, the players are ready to go. I'm ready to get in. Chat is split as well. Can Gen G make it happen? First Killer looking in peak form. The team rallying around him. This is their time to take it from G2. And yet, the Kings of the North are undisturbed. G2 versus Gen G for the title of North American Champion.
The biggest rivals in North America clash in the grand finals once more. Many onlookers in North America will say that it's a two-team region. However, G2 has a case to say they stand alone. Gen G was able to beat G2 in Swiss, but can they take them down on the grand final stage? We are about to find out.
And when you face the best, you play your best. There is no fear. There is only determination. It is time to lock in. And Gen G, like you said, defeated them once in Swiss, but can they do it again when it matters? Now we're in the grand final. Second time they meet. Will Gen G rewrite the script?
Gen G, this would be massive for them going into the major. Finally, taking down grand finals victory. They've gotten close before, but it was G2 that stood in their way, and it's G2 who stands there again. Nice early pressure here. G2 coming off a hot victory over TSM. Apparently Jack now gonna try to get something going, but Beast Mode, he gave him so much pain in the first grand finals with his quick challenges, and you're already seeing that from Beast Mode.
Yeah, if you're Gen G watching how the TSM match went, when the desk mentioned over 4 goals a game against the #1 defense in the region of TSM. Ooh. G2 are in perfect form, and Chronic missing that opportunity, got pushed out of the way. Here's retaliation from Daniel, but you can't let Daniel with all that space and time, and Chronic with a close call right back at them.
Things looking a little bit sloppy on the goal line there. Gen G having some good scoring chances. Daniel going for a backward pass to Beast Mode, and that also hits off the backboard. Some heavy blows traded. You tell both teams staggering a bit, but they're still on their feet despite taking those blows.
So everyone is warmed up from their semifinal matches. Both had incredible showings, coming out on top in the end, even when pressure was on them, when their backs were against the wall, whether it was against TSM, less against TSM, but more when OG made Gen G sweat. Now, going up against G2, and you already had some lessons on how this went in the Swiss. And Daniel was the guy to shut down, and Gen G had figured that out, and they were keeping a close eye on him.
G2 picking up the pace now. Chronic gonna try to air dribble this out. Does get a flip, and does use it to get by, and First Killer will lob towards net, trying to milk that boost out. First Killer getting a bump and also a touch on Atomic. Now a race to the ball. Chronic has Abjack on the back wall. The pass back down. There is the team play and the ball movement from Gen G.
And that was what's most deadly about Gen G, when they start connecting on those passes. And what a setup from Jack off the wall, and to tuck that perfectly placed in the bottom left. You're gonna have to pull out all the stops to shake up G2 and to keep those cracks in the armor that Gen G established in the Swiss. G2 looked a lot more human, a lot more beatable, but a chance for Beast Mode. No, Daniel steps up, and there's a tie.
They just overpower Gen G here. The low 50 from Daniel, the start of that success. Such a good 50. And then Daniel there to clean things up. Daniel, he is just so calm under pressure. Whether he wants to go for a fake or a low 50, it always seems like he's a step ahead of whoever he's trying to beat.
Oh, and First Killer, a shot there towards Daniel. Good save. As Jack pushes Atomic out of the way, attempting the clear. Now the play continues. Jack and Chronic connect, double commit out of G2, but Atomic first on the rebound. But the midfield commanded by Gen G. And the offense continues, another double commit from G2. But the first on it is Chronic versus Daniel. And the Gen G pressure is building up. Jack with the fake to First Killer with a shot. Saved again by G2.
G2, you saw Atomic on 0 boost, has a couple small pads. But Gen G, despite giving up that goal, have looked a little bit better than G2 so far. We saw multiple double commits from G2, which caused that boost deficiency. And now Gen G trying to get back on the attack. Apparently Jack with the ball. goes for an air dribble, gets the bump on Daniel as well, but Beast Mode is there to support.
Still a 1-1 game with almost 90 seconds left, but here comes Atomic right into the net, but now tucks it to the side, wants a better quality shot, and Daniel throws another one down. All these down low shots being saved by Gen G. Now space for Gen G to move downfield. Jack will do so on the left and runs into first killer, which is awkward there. And G2 gonna see if they can punish.
G2, we did have that low 50 that led to the goal, but can they bring some of those team plays or even a solo play? Beast Mode, you know he's got plenty of those in his back pocket.
Last minute of play. It's gonna be a long final. And G2 know they have to peak here and now. And Chronic let loose. Defense stepping up. Chronic and Jack ready on the right side where Beast Mode will land. How will this 50 shake up? It's Beast Mode that breaks through. Atomic with the pinch towards the blue end. But not a lot of presence from G2 on this ball. Now Atomic behind on the play. Daniel slowing it down. Chronic against Atomic. Good win from Atomic. Now setting up Daniel for the counterattack. But stop after stop, it's been difficult to develop.
Yeah, Daniel's midfield presence certainly being felt, even on that last play, getting that little touch, making sure Gen G couldn't keep them locked in their own half. Right now poised for overtime, but Gen G's having a good attack late.
Jack keeping up with this ball and turns on it. Daniel steals corner. Jack against Atomic. A stop there. And the 50 stifles. We go into overtime for game 1.
Gen G had such a good start, a quality goal. That backward pass from apparently Jack. Now first killer gets a flip reset, but Atomic hits it down and there was a miss. Can Daniel get around it? Pitch pass to the middle and apparently Jack there to close the window.
Jack, what a great win. That was gonna be dire. That could have been the G2 overtime. Beast Mode having the pass. It's off the cross. Chronic saves the moment. And Chronic gets the demo. G2 off their backs for now. Beast Mode, well, we'll keep them locked in. G2 still harassing, but as they step up, they're getting demoed. Gen G are doing everything they can to break out of this blue half. This midfield, so difficult to traverse. But Daniel just lobbing it towards the net forces Jack to make the save. And Gen G are doing everything they can with passes to get out. And Daniel to Atomic. It's a dangerous ball.
Saw apparently Jack trying to get that little tip, but Beast Mode doing what he does best, keeping that ball in, being that first man who keeps the attack ongoing. Daniel now trying to dribble, seeing what the defense gives him, a team bump, but still Chronic is able to get it out of his half. And apparently Jack going for this corner double. What? He feeds it to first killer. Apparently Jack was the catalyst in game 1.
Jack, the setup guy from the bottom of his car, and even with G2 home, it's Gen G that take game 1 in overtime. A great start for them.
And apparently Jack with 2 brilliant passes. The first goal, the pass from the backboard, and then that double tap, it was coming off a team bump as well. That play easily could have gotten out of hand, but there was great composure. Apparently Jack keeps moving upfield, and then to hit that double. First killer there as well. The double was so powerful though. You saw 2 defenders from G2 on the line, and they still couldn't stop it.
And Gen G were up a couple games in the Swiss before G2 attempted a reverse sweep, so G2 know how to play from behind. It's kind of uncharacteristic because they will only ever play from behind against Gen G. And man, the offenses came in swinging, and this is as close as we're gonna see Gen G and G2 get.
And or you wonder at least if that's gonna be the case. Gen G, they had all the pressure in this game. The one goal that G2 had, it was the low 50 from Daniel, and it, it was just a scrappy goal from G2, whereas on the other side, you had Gen G, and mainly apparently Jack, finding that space and creating those opportunities for his teammates. And I thought also, Chronic, very good job as well to finish that first goal, and also defensively to get that ball out that led to that counterattack. So Gen G overall looking like the better team in game 1.
By a slim margin, by only 1 goal. It's a good win by Chronic. It was Gen G with more demos. First killer leaving it off to Jack, but good contest from Beast Mode in the midfield to not let this go awry. And Daniel with the second touch, and Gen G send this back as Atomic now watches what First Killer can do, who flicks it above. Jack with an important demo, but Beast Mode with a solid clear to kill that momentum from Gen G.
And a very important demo there. You saw Atomic get demoed. And that's when you need to buy that time. We're seeing demos left and right. This is a solo play opportunity for Beast Mode. Oh, almost gets the Zen shot. But it came up just short. I was a believer there for a moment.
With how far committed G2 was to, an important touch came at the end to stop Gen G from counterattacking, and they could not unbury themselves from that hole. G2 with the first goal.
Atomic taking that space, and Beast Mode is so confident to jump up there. I mean, he knew exactly where Atomic was going to put it.
Only a minute gone by. G2's pressure. Okay, just getting demoed off a kickoff. First Killer pinch off the ceiling to Jack, threatening the double, but it goes off the side. Had Beast Mode jumping, had him shaking in his boots. And G2, they know they have to clear this quick.
Apparently Jack trying to take that up. Will be contested here by Daniel. Lovely first touch. You can see First Killer trying to play the 50. Another challenge coming in. First Killer trying to threaten another really nice touch here from apparently Jack. Went for the bump, but Atomic saw it coming from the beginning, was able to navigate around it.
G2 stay composed, but with these shots coming in out of Gen G, G2 had to start getting these demos, remove Gen G by force. But G2's presence, they couldn't retaliate in time. In the demo, Daniel dives and saves a heroic play from G2. Now they hope to get more. How about some revenge? But it's still a 1-0 game.
Chronic going for a pass here. You can see him and First Killer not on the same page. Apparently Jack has to keep this ball in and does buy that time. And now Gen G back in rotation. A nice double tap though from Atomic keeps First Killer off the trail.
Daniel bullies his way through, but just getting surrounded. Now Beast Mode with that challenge. Great that he got a pass there. And Jack, that pillar in the back, he made the initial save. First Killer there in time. Daniel with the rebound wins the 50 to Beast Mode. No, the pop-up from Jack and Chronic was perfect. And the G2 relentless offense keeps going, win after win on these 50s. Atomic to Daniel, a couple of whiffs and being called off. And now Gen G breathe. Oh,
but there's two going for G2. First Killer can get a tip. And there's the dunk from Chronic. So despite all that pressure from G2, it melts away on a counterattack. Looked like even a team bump there. Throwing the back line into havoc for G2.
Yeah, G2 just trying to avoid each other on the offense. They get reorganized on their end. And Gen G is so quick to respond. We're tied 1-1 in similar fashion as game one. First Killer trying to pinch his way out. The clear is denied, and now the First Killer's demoed. G2 really got to fight for possession here. See if they can make the most out of this opportunity. Atomic with a great pass, and it bounces bar down, but not in. This Chronic and First Killer scoop it out. Daniel challenged in front of the net. That's dangerous. Gen G keep utilizing these demos to get G2 into a chaotic state. And Gen G get out.
Beautiful 50 from First Killer. He's going to go for it again, but Daniel reads it around him. Daniel going for a bump. There's the demo. Daniel keeping possession as well. This will be a shot opportunity potentially for Atomic. Goes for the corner pass. But all of that effort from Daniel did work well to get G2 the space, but the ball will be all the way back here for apparently Jack.
Good thing Jack was there in time. Chronic just grabbed the side boost, and now back to full. He can keep up with the play because G2 like to play fast. And First Killer, the crossfield pass to get Gen G the lead.
And look at that boom. It's sailing over the entire defense from G2. First Killer puts it on target, just has to basically throw it on net with how powerful Chronic hit that. It even tapped the ceiling. Man, that was a boom from Chronic.
We saw those flashes of brilliance from Gen G against that OG team from the semifinal. Last minute of play to see if G2 can catch up, which is uncharacteristic to even say this is the only team that will make them sweat this hard. Atomic The pre-jump off the ceiling, but this lands right into First Killer's lap. Atomic goes to steal boost. First Killer doesn't even need it as he's sailing across the orange half, but Beast Mode and friends look stable for now. Jack looks to contest the midfield, goes forward. Just time killed from G2's opportunities, and they can't even keep it in the blue half.
And you saw that pinch going all the way back. Beast Mode will boom it. Chronic, oh, he actually missed the corner boost. This might be bad. Only had 11 boost and now is out of the play. Numbers advantage here for G2. Daniel on the dribble, contested still. The back pass, it is getting scrappy in there in the trenches. Everyone trying to get this ball out. There's the fake. First Killer tips it. Atomic with some time takes it to the sidewall. Second effort, he whiffs on it and it hits the ground, allowing Gen G to walk away with another win in game 2.
Great composure out of Gen G to deny the chance at an overtime when G2, it was looking real scary from them. You know how mechanical they can get, how well they deal with pressure, and they got sometimes mixed up on the defense trying to avoid each other, and they were able to regroup, make it happen. I mean, what is it, 13 shots? 13 shots out of G2, forcing every save in the book out of Gen G, but only getting 1 goal out of it. This Gen G defense truly makes G2 stretch to their limits.
And we already saw a little bit of the inconsistency on defense from G2. We saw that team bump that led to a goal. A few double commits as well in game 1. Just seems like G2 not necessarily on the same page, but a lot of that is just due to how good Gen G has been on the counterattack, namely that long pass from Chronic over to First Killer. Such a picture-perfect counterattack to put that on goal so quickly. And now it's forcing G2 to call a timeout this early. And everyone was wondering, you know, is Gen G really good enough to do this to G2? Yes, they beat them in Swiss, but it's a different thing in a best of 7, especially in a grand final. A grand final that G2 has won 2 times in a row previously. They have been on top without a doubt in North America, but Gen G has come out swinging. They have been able to work through some of the scrappy plays of their own and come up clutch, and especially First Killer. We even saw it last series. You want him taking that shot. When the game is on the line, he steps up. He does it more times than not. He is such an incredible player, and he's shown us time and time again. That is why Gen G, who had maybe the best split North America has ever seen and maybe will ever see for quite some time, decided to pick up First Killers, because they believe that they can even take that team to the next level. And in this series, it has been working out so far.
It's just been an earthquake watching these 2 giants clash in North America. Not the first time, won't be the last time. It's an appetizer for what we may see at Copenhagen if they ever have to face there. But yeah, it's good to mention just how different it is to face in Swiss than here. You have no doubts you're going to make playoffs if you're G2 or Gen G, regardless of how you match up against each other. But now there's prize money on the line, and a lot of it. And that's going to help pay for some nice meals in Copenhagen. So you want to throw it all down and also get some nice revenge. G2 want to say that was just a fluke.
Oh, it just, for the confidence as well going into the major. The confidence is everything. We saw that from Gen G in the fall split last time. They had all the confidence going in, and they actually won that major. So this is very big for Gen G, who look to repeat that success.
We'll see if that timeout had an impactful effect on G2. How did First Killer make that save? I thought that was in for sure. G2 running on fumes, but Beast Mode just back up to full. He's still involved in the play. And Gen G, they crack through that midfield, and Chronic in the 1v1. Still keep the play alive. Now from the right, gets shoved out of the way there from Atomic. So Jack will try and synergize. Goes over to Chronic again. And First Killer knows he can't go up high quite yet.
Good challenge from Beast Mode. This lets Daniel move in. Daniel gonna try to dribble this out, but Chronic has been so keen on spotting those plays from Daniel and shutting him down.
Good demo from Gen G. Now they take shots. Atomic forced to save, but the rebound that Jack was looking for, he gets demoed off the ball. some fantastic defense from G2. And wanting to drop this off, Atomic, it's a nice attempt. Chronic removed. Ball back in the hands of Beast Mode. And it's just chaos with all these demos. And Gen G are just trying to make space.
And Gen G's defense is playing so well. That play from Dan, and I guess I cursed him right away. I was gonna say, I can't believe they stopped that off the ceiling flip reset from Daniel. But then here, Chronic lets that get away from him, and then Atomic actually is, you know, sweeping the line, but everyone was lost. I think First Killer thought that apparently Jack was third man, and apparently Jack must have thought that First Killer was gonna be third man because they just left that net open, and usually someone's gonna be at least covering that option.
It was great initiative out of G2, and you just demo. It's just chaos, and you have to play perfectly in those situations as Beast Mode right into the hands of Gen G's defense, who follow each other, maybe running into each other. Beast Mode with the recovery, and Chronic has to take it up high, and Jack retreats to watch what Beast Mode is doing, just in case this ball were to land back in G2's favor. Now G2 have their backs against the wall, but don't seem too flustered.
Apparently Jack gonna try to turn now. Daniel gets a piece of it, but it actually might help Gen G here. Atomic forced to jump, and that lets Chronic snag the corner. So Gen G will have some boost to make this play. There is a demo, but Atomic had to jump and bail out. That's precious boost wasted. First Killer, if he gets that pass in field, Chronic was ready for the pass. G2 though, holding on just enough. Beast Mode will get by that first line of defense. Low boost here for First Killer to work with.
Daniel can't carve through. Now Jack with an important demo on the Beast Mode to get G2 off of them. G2, I mean, every team has talked about it. When you face G2, they are suffocating, and you need perfect team play to get past them and to even try and beat them. And Gen G have proved that it's possible. But now this game 3 is a little bit more quiet. They haven't scored yet. G2 are only up by 1 though, and Daniel is first on the ball. Atomic is by his side, hoping for the wall pinch, but Beast Mode is too far forward. But they still keep the play alive as Atomic's off the ceiling, and First Killer drops it right to the corner, and G2 keep trying to salvage the play. 90 seconds left. They need insurance. Need everything you can get against Gen G.
And it's been so awkward for Gen G, barely keeping their head above water. Finally breaking out of their half. It's been so long since they've had an attack, and now G2 trying to get through once more. Daniel is a tough player to play. He's so much misdirection and also raw mechanical ability. But now it's 1v1. Jack and Daniel. Jack pulls the trigger, rebound the First Killer, and he finishes the job.
The Gen G passes are what you love to watch. They're so quick too, and it was a good initial attempt by Daniel to save, but with the momentum, the speed that Gen G had when they moved downfield, it was too much for G2 to handle. And now that lead is gone. 1 minute left, with Gen G having the potential to steal away game 3 and go to match point against one of the best of North America. What a win from First Killer. Daniel's attention is summoned back, and Beast Mode with just a touch to get this out of their end. But Jack to First Killer. Beast Mode needs to break it up. He's bumped off the play, but his initial effort is good. Gen G keep trying their best.
Atomic, oh my gosh! Atomic is a highlight machine!
Can't believe it, off the ceiling, a few touches, crashing down back to earth to give G2 back the lead with 32 seconds left. Atomic has his moment to be in the stars, and kickoff for Gen G. Jack with the demo, Chronic hunting down Daniel, but First Killer couldn't get the setup he wanted. So Jack throws it up high, buying time for Gen G to get these passes going. First Killer versus Atomic. Atomic beats, Daniel runs into Atomic. Jack has a second to think with the fake, and oh, the time was almost there. 10 seconds left. First Killer, Demo's Beast Mode, Chronic with the shot, it's open. 2-2.
There was no hesitation. The corner boost actually spawning perfectly in time for First Killer to give him the boost to even get that demo. So many things had to go right, and First Killer, he made the play using every advantage, and somehow Gen G tie that up.
Daniel lobs it. Atomic not there first. Finally, in overtime for the second time this series. Will Gen G go to match point? Will G2 resurrect their chances? Now it's a 3-on-2 after that demo off a kickoff. And Beast Mode dancing against First Killer off the ceiling. Atomic and Chronic collide. But now Jack gets it out. And Daniel flipping the play on its head, dribbling above First Killer. Chronic in the net, so was Jack. The bomb! Daniel! He's a hero!
What a special play from Daniel! He half flips into an air dribble, into a flip reset. I have never seen anything like that. Daniel is incredible.
It's the best ones player in the region. Everyone reacting in the cameras like, I don't even care who wins or loses. This is some incredible Rocket League. Daniel shows up, give him a cape. G2 deny that match point from Gen G, and the series goes on.
I demand to see that again. Daniel was, when he started the play, he was facing the opposite direction. And then he beats the entire Gen G defense. I am speechless. I mean, this game was so back and forth. And G2, they clutched up. This was remarkable. Daniel over everybody, saving just enough boost to get the reset. That's all they're gonna give us? I need to see that play 10 times in a row from 3 different angles.
And only Daniel can pull that off, it seems. That is Daniel's 5th overtime winner this event. You love to watch him make magic happen. Now G2 only trail by 1 in this series, and that was after a G2 timeout, and it still went the distance. We still went to overtime. You gotta commend Gen G for, yes, G2 had leads, but Gen G always had a response.
Oh my gosh, I'm still just stunned. I am just stunned that, I mean, both the goals, Atomic's goal was amazing, but Daniel, to do that in a moment like that, amazing.
Incredible stuff. Gotta respect it if you're Gen G. Now Gen G's defense assembles. And Chronic, that's not the best drop off. You saw Daniel lurking and hunting for his prey in beast mode. Now pinches it off to that defensive end, and Jack's first on the ball, and he scores!
And there's the response. Crazy pinch all the way downfield. So much so it even bamboozles Daniel. And that's another big play from First Killer to be able to get that clear. Appjack happy to clean it up.
This is so deja vu from Swiss. Well, I know this is not a best of 5, but Gen G were up by 2, and then G2 started coming back. They know how to adapt and overcome. This beast mode can't overcome Jack in that moment, and he's been the guy you gotta worry about. Tries to flick it above Daniel. Atomic with a great save. And you know that everyone from G2 needs to come back when Gen G start going for these crazy challenges that can turn the play. Gen G have been good at winning those at crucial moments. Now a free ball for G2, setting up Atomic. Jack getting a touch to it, gets the Chronic, but Atomic still fights for possession, but Beast Mode wasn't in position to do anything with it.
Gen G trying to add to their lead. Beast Mode has to be careful here. Chronic waiting patiently, goes for the 50. Appjack also in support. Chronic will be able to keep this in. Plays patient, actually missed the mid boost. It spawned right as he left. However, we'll have that corner to work with. Back down to a great speed from Chronic. And he tried to beat Daniel, still might have a goal. That one off the post. And now it's a 1v1. It's actually a 2v1 on the other end. Appjack gets bumped. It's a hopeless situation for Gen G, and it leads to that goal for G2.
And Jack just got demoed in the previous play. He comes back and says, what's up? Did I miss the party? And just gets smashed on by G2 in that moment. Not much you can do in the 1v2. We're tied 1-1 as usual. These two go back and forth multiple times throughout this split. Beast Mode to Daniel. It's a bouncer, and Chronic was in between nonetheless. First Killer maintains the speed, runs into 2 of G2, but a great touch, a second touch from Daniel. Try and get this out. But you know that Gen G are always looming and always making you second guess how you move around the field.
Tie ball game again, and this has been such an entertaining series. That last game, jaw-dropping finish. G2 still have more work to do, trailing 2-1. Gen G will be on match point after this, and now have to defend once more. Lead blocker play almost resulting in another goal for G2. Now apparently Jack will leave this for Chronic. Chronic testing the backboard, but it's going to be a huge boom from Beast Mode downfield.
G2 were busy defending, and good thing they're still there, because it's just down one side, the other side of the coast. Now Atomic off the ceiling, can't get a touch on First Killer, so Gen G seem okay. Beast Mode's getting chased around. You see Gen G making space for each other. That's the type of selfless, synergistic team that can break apart G2 if they're not careful. But for now, we're still in a 1-1 game.
Beast Mode trying to get through the backboard. Chronic is low. Tough boost situation here for Gen G. Jack will just lob it downfield, try to buy some time here. Chronic now boosted up at the midfield, seeing what Daniel does with it. Beast Mode trying to 50. Does snag the corner as well. Nicely played from Beast Mode. Flip reset from Daniel. Daniel going for another solo play. You know he's got it in him. There's a double commit on the goal line. But apparently Jack will tip it up for First Killer.
That G2 pressure's getting scary. And First Killer cut off before he could sail away with any smiles on his face. Now Beast Mode trying to do his impression on the other side, and it's stop after stop. Both teams have only been able to register 4 shots each. That's how difficult it's been to get set up against just the 2 best teams this region has to offer.
Chronic going for a pass. Beast Mode barely getting there in time. Is just going to stay on it. Chronic forcing the issue. Beast Mode back down. There's a demo. Chronic sending it out to the middle. Nicely done. Allows his teammates to respawn. First Killer's jumping up for this. He'll probably just go for a 50. Actually loses it there. This is going to be dangerous for Chronic. Chronic decides to take the shot as third man. They did enough to have G2 far enough back to where Chronic could make that play. As we approach now the final 30 seconds, we are still tied up.
Oh, First Killer coming in quick. Neutralized there at the corner. G2 assemble. Fighting back this time. Beast Mode with the dribble. Atomic having to make space in front of the net. But Gen G hold the wall. And they hold the door as Chronic hopes to respond. The 50 drops down and a great catch from Atomic. First Killer going in for more. And Jack can't break through against Beast Mode. We may just enter another overtime. And so we do.
All eyes on Daniel. See if he has another one of those ready to go. That shot truly incredible in overtime as well. But Gen G, you're hungry to get on match point and prove that that Swiss stage win was not a fluke. Ooh. And this is a great chance. Up in the air. Jack actually hits it. Chronic also had jumped for it, did get a piece of it. Now Daniel in the air, trying to go for it again, and he's shut down.
Wow, the fact that Gen G stopped that when they kind of double committed on that ball to, well, end overtime. You gotta make that risk, and they salvage it. They don't, doesn't cost them anything. First 30 seconds into overtime has been already terrifying. And Daniel sends it downfield. And then it's sent right back. Daniel and Atomic gonna work together now against First Killer, who drops it. And this could be what sends Gen G to match point. Atomic swinging at it. And stop after stop. Chronic's gonna need some help, and Jack gonna shove Daniel around, so he's pushed off the play. And Atomic running out of boost. And this goes right into Gen G's hands. Not too shaken. We'll see what Daniel can do. He doesn't have a lot of boost either.
Such a battle for possession now. You can see at times just lobbing it in towards net, trying to waste that boost, trying to force a mistake out of the other team. Chronic is airborne. Will have a flip. Uses it early. Atomic off the ceiling. First Killer's there. Looks for the corner. Is going to stay on the play, but Beast Mode beats it to it. Hands, or ball back in the hands of Gen G. Now going off the ceiling, trying to get the block. This is great pressure from Gen G. Might be a chance. Flip reset from First Killer. Drops it down to apparently Jack. And Gen G win it in OT.
Match point for Gen G. But G2 were boost starved that whole time, running on fumes. Even when Chronic had the setup off the back wall, he grabbed the corner and there was just no chance for G2 to unbury themselves in that moment. And G2 are so used to suffocating every other team, and they just couldn't get out of that situation, and Gen G made the most out of it. Extended overtime, and I think the third one this series ends in Gen G's favor.
And that pass from First Killer was so good. I mean, you take a, we must see it again on this highlight package, but to get there, to get the flip reset and drop that perfectly down for apparently Jack, that was an amazing individual effort there. And then we saw Daniel trying to make a few solo plays this game, shut down. Gen G forced having 3 to go on that play, but this flip reset pass there, you saw it beat Atomic. The squishy save attempted, but nowhere close. Clutch win from Gen G, clutch play from First Killer, who's been playing a stellar game and a stellar series. And now we see Gen G on match point, just 1 game away from winning their first qualifier here in North America.
And you love to see Jack stepping up to the plate. It's obviously Jack. He just has to change his name now because he's been stepping up for Gen G, making the goals happen. And really, there's just not one star on Gen G. They're all just so fluid. They're all involved in their success, and they take the loss as a team, and they know how to adapt and come back. How many times have they lost to G2? And look, they've already got the revenge in Swiss, and they're just 1 game away from handing them maybe their second loss.
And this would be huge for Gen G to get all the momentum moving forward into the major. G2, they've already locked in that top spot. But for Gen G, and honestly for G2 as well, the big prize is the major. That major title, that feeling of winning it all, being the best in the world. That is really what everyone is playing for. And this series can help with your psyche going into that major. This is big for both of these teams. Even though it's not for seeding, it's big for the mental.
It is, and also proving to everyone, maybe some people on a certain podcast, that it's not a fluke. And is G2 beatable in the matches that matter the most? And this is also to show the entire world what North America's best is made out of.
Now we see if Gen G can finish the job. They were able to in Swiss. Can they do it here on the big stage?
Gen G match point. Be the first time they could win a regional this split. And Atomic, it's already a good start for G2. They gotta keep up that pressure they've been known for, and Daniel trying to center this out for Atomic. It's a good shove by Chronic and First Killer, but this pinches out, and Jack always makes sure that he's that solid pillar in front of the net that will break up the pass from G2. And Chronic and First Killer gonna try again, but Chronic's being bullied by 3 G2 members.
Atomic thinking somebody's on him. Apparently Jack does get a bump on Daniel. And now the demo. Apparently Jack not letting Daniel get away. Now Chronic off the ceiling. Looking for a backboard play. It leaks through. Fortunately for G2, Daniel there to stop it, but the attack is still going.
Still is. Gen G cycling is so good, and everyone's involved in the success, and Chronic finds the back of the net.
Chronic lurking. We've seen him be the last back, and he's not been afraid to, as third man, dive in and take that shot. And that time, it gets Gen G the lead, and it might be the only goal they need. We'll see how things pan out. Now G2 is going to have to respond.
Gen G already broken up in the midfield, but Gen G always know how to find the result of these 50s and to take it inch by inch to advance this offense from a mile. But G2 looking like they're just stable. They're keeping themselves in their own end, just trying to stop Jack. Daniel's successful at doing so, but transitioning into an offense, G2 is struggling a bit. And now it's some fakes, and the pace change in front of the nets. Oh, that was dire.
Oh, the First Killer landed on his teammate, and oh, it's a pound off the post. I thought it was going to be a goal for G2 still might be. This is off the ceiling. It's awkward for Chronic. A double commit, a demo on the last back. This game is pure chaos.
It is, and that demo, Gen.G bring the momentum. Jacks up the wall and just kind of changes that pace against Atomic's challenge. Now G2's backs are against the wall. Can't afford another goal with how difficult it's been for G2 to be executing on these offenses. And First Killer and friends of Gen.G have been winning these 50s, and Jack at the wrong angle, hoping to get that pass. Chronic tries again. Atomic and Daniel are all mixed up, and Gen.G's lead increases.
Oh, G2, they are really in trouble now. Looks like they ran into one another in the corner, could never recover. And Chronic has been so consistent all series long, gets the feed to Jack, and Jack will easily put that one away.
G2 have to stay organized on that defense, but I know with the pace of play that is going on right now, it can't fault them for that. Chronic having to dance off the ceiling. G2's reads are good. Now Atomic and Beast Mode work together to move downfield. And Atomic bounces it out to Daniel, who's forced to make a backflip. Didn't think it was possible with Gen.G's presence. It's tough to cut through Gen.G. They're on one today.
Gen.G, they are feeling it. Less than half the game left to go. The defense not giving an inch. Atomic trying to take that up the back corner. You can see First Killer already going off the ceiling, which he has done quite a few times. We even saw him do it in the last series, not afraid to drive up there and have those bold challenges.
Strong clear from First Killer intended for Chronic on the long pass, but G2 first in the air and first on the ball. As Daniel and Atomic can't pave the way. Beast Mode bulldozes through the net and keeps G2 within one.
Beast Mode, he just forces this through. He sees Chronic going high, decides to go low and 50 it. Lovely perception there from Beast Mode, taking what Chronic was given to him.
G2 connecting there on that offense. Under too many cooks in the kitchen. Started getting around each other, and now Gen.G making some saves, but the ball not firmly in their hands. As Atomic just sends us right to Chronic, even though Beast Mode was below. Now Daniel has some space, and First Killer gets to the crossbar in time. And Chronic scoops it up with Beast Mode gone. Gen.G has some time to think, but Daniel from the midfield is such a nuisance, and he takes the shot. First Killer saves, and you're not even over yet. As the pinch almost came out to Daniel again, and it's up in the air. Gen.G have had to pull up all the stops.
Crazy read from Beast Mode as well. Chronic wanted to go for the double, but Beast Mode somehow read what he was going to do. Is that net open? Oh, it's just wide. Beast Mode wasn't going to be able to get back. Now on the counter, double commit from G2 offensively. Daniel all alone.
30 seconds until Gen.G could rewrite the ending of this script to take the crown away from G2. And that confidence going into Worlds is everything. A big win from Jack. And he shoves Daniel out of the way. First Killer pops up. Few touches off to the side. Atomic puts it away.
This is the final countdown here for G2. If they cannot get this goal, it is over. Gen.G are your Qualifier 3 champions. They finally take down G2 in the grand finals.
All smiles. I know Jack looks still locked in though, but what a win. Back to back from the Swiss to now. It was not a fluke. There isn't that much of a gap between G2 and Gen.G. You can't argue that anymore. Who is number one? Who even knows anymore? But North America has some darn good teams going to Copenhagen. And Gen.G just narrowly squeaking out a win, but looked like the better team overall.
This was a completely different Gen.G team. I mean, we saw in the first grand finals, starting out this split in North America, Gen.G looked so uncomfortable. Apparently Jack was struggling to make plays in that first grand final, and G2 beat him down. It was a beatdown. This was revenge. Gen.G was able to do the exact same thing to G2. We saw some massive plays from really everybody. Especially First Killer had some really amazing plays. That flip reset pass, that was something else. And Gen G, they continued that comfortable gameplay. It was clear they had a game plan. It was clear they came in with a system. Everybody knew their role and they executed it.
And just the way their synergy is shown on the field and the improvements from the first regionals, meeting G2 so many times to finally taking them down and going to so many overtimes. What an incredible series. I know this Mobile One high performance replay package is going to be jam-packed, and I'm excited to hear what the desk thinks, so let's go check in.
What a match. What a performance after basically half the season. Gen G finally able to reclaim the title of Kings of North America from G2. Will it hold? We'll talk. We got plenty of time to talk about that before Copenhagen. But for now, they reign at the top. And what a performance as they do it here. Stacks, very impressive performance from both teams. But you got to give it to Gen G in this one.
Yeah, I mean, Gen G finally did what we know they're capable of. I mean, they kept the scoring going all through Sunday, even against a team like G2, where we know how good they are. This is the Gen G that has to show up in Copenhagen if they want to be looked at as not just a major contender, but a world's contender.
And if you want to talk about just being a North American fan, I think this is the best thing that could possibly happen for them going into Copenhagen. G2 had to be tested. There had to be another team up there with them so they can learn and get better. And I think G2, they got beat down a little bit here, but G2 looked out of this world. That game 3, like Atomic, he put up a shot that was amazing, and then Daniel might have scored the best Rlcs goal I have ever seen. G2 looks fantastic going into the major as well, but this is a great learning experience to figure out what is wrong. Because honestly, yes, being perfect is great, but then it's hard to find your flaws, right? And you don't want those flaws to come out in Copenhagen. To get them out of the way now, to try and figure that out, to go there is great. But Gen G, First Killer looks unlocked. He looks like the old First Killer, the one they expected to get. He looks so good. The playmaking ability was fantastic.
It's great to go undefeated and have all that history. Nobody remembers the team that goes undefeated if they don't win a championship at the end of it. And I think that's going to be the most important thing for G2 going forward.
We still haven't had the split sweep in North America. G2 fall short at the last moment. Yeah, I think it was, well, no, Gen G wasn't in the running to do it last season, but it's been pretty close a few times for a few teams, but never quite been able to pull it off here in North America.
And on top of that, G2 tried to do it in the 21-22 spring, I believe it was, and First Killer denied that as well. So he's done it twice to G2. But man, it just goes to show, like, NA depth, you know, like at least at the top, that's good sign for NA. It's great to see that Gen G and G2 are those two top dogs that we all expected to see. That's why the pros split them in power rankings all the way back. And now it is a question. Who is the best in North America? And I love to have that to go into Copenhagen to answer all those questions.
A crazy one here. Excited to see how the power ranking conversations go this week after the topsy-turvy performance we had all weekend. But again, going back all the way to game 1, we saw excellent moments from every player on the pitch here.
Man, it was just wonderful to see from Gen G, to see that playmaking ability to come out to get that offensive going. So again, First Killer played out of this world, but then Atomic right here. That goal's insane in game 3, and then Daniel pulls this.
What is this?
One of the best goals I've ever seen, and that's the only game G2 won because they scored 2 top 10 worthy goals for the entire year. Daniel, what a performance there.
An incredible performance from Daniel, but it was in a losing effort. It is Gen G, Mobile One Racing, sitting at the top of all of this. And of course, we got to bring in the MVP of the event to talk to him. Dazri is standing by with First Killer.
Wave, I'm here with First Killer. First Killer, congratulations on the win. You guys end up taking this regional event. Got to tell me, how does it feel?
Thank you, Daz. It feels honestly amazing. We needed that win for the confidence going into the major. you know, we've been working really hard these past few weeks because G2 really had us figured out, and I don't know, we showed it today that we're the better team today.
Yeah, let's kind of dive into it a bit, because you're absolutely right. It felt like G2 had your number here for the first 2 events. It was tough. You go into this event though, you see them in the Swiss, almost sweep them in the Swiss, but of course they tried to battle back. You won in 5. Then you go here and then 4-1, almost very dominant series. Without saying too much, what can you tell me that changed here for you guys?
I don't know what I could say. I mean, I just think we were more confident in each other as a team, and we felt more comfortable because we were trying to figure out some play styles, you know, between the first, second regional, and then we finally figured something out, and then yeah, we just felt a lot more comfortable.
I mean, well, yeah, it definitely looked like it. You guys look very comfortable, very, very confident now, and then you guys have this win here. Talk to me about just you as an individual here playing with this Gen G roster, starting off the way you guys did and up till now. Do you kind of feel the growth too when you talk to the team day by day?
Yeah, definitely. At the start, I was struggling a little bit to like fill into the playstyle. But after working for a while, I figured it out. Started to play a lot better because I felt like I was underperforming in the first 2 regionals. Definitely was not playing how I should play. And then, yeah, and then it's just super easy to talk to them. If I ever have like an issue or I feel like something's wrong, I can just talk to them and we figure it out instantly, and they're easy to work with.
That's great to see. I want to talk to you about you specifically, because of course, you know, you've had a storied career. Last team you were on was FaZe. That kind of blew up. You go from there to here. I mean, for you personally, what are you looking to prove this season with your performance and with this Gen G team?
I mean, I just want to stay on top. I just want to prove that I'm still one of the best players in NA, if not the best. I like to have confidence in myself, and yeah, I just want to prove that I'm still one of the best and I'm not going anywhere soon.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely shows with the gameplay here, especially. Talking about kind of the team here a little bit more, you obviously have been playing with Jack and Chronic. I mean, what's it like playing with them in high-pressure situations?
It's honestly amazing. Jack, I think he genuinely not won that series for us, but he helped us like stay calm the whole entire time. Like if you watch the comms videos when it gets released, you'll see he was just chill the whole entire time, telling us what to do, and I think that helped us so much. And Chronic's obviously just a beast, so he you know, was playing calm and playing good all the whole way.
That's great. And First Killer, of course, you know, we want to give you a chance to be able to celebrate with the team here, but I want to give you a chance to address, you know, the fans, family, anyone who supported you. Is there anything you would like to say, any shout outs you'd like to make?
Shout out to the fans. You guys are insane. I love all the support. I really appreciate it. Shout out to my teammates. They're insane. Shout out to the coach, Lucian. And shout out to my family, my dad, my mom, and my little brother.
Much love to the family as well. Okay, the First Killer, thank you for the interview. Congratulations on the win, and we'll see you in the future in Copenhagen. Good luck.
Thank you, Daz.
Gen G get their first event win of the season with this run through the bracket. And while G2 didn't complete the perfect sweep on the split, we do continue the pattern of every team that won an event in North America here, Stacks, did it undefeated. G2 going undefeated in the Swiss and then not losing the bracket twice, and now here, Gen G doing it for the 3rd time.
Yeah, Gen G finally slayed one of their demons, right? Because, of course, G2 was in their way. They didn't get really to say anything about M80, but probably just as well happy to see them away from them on the bracket anyway. So now they don't have to worry about M80 going forward. Now they got to worry about Europe and Sam and Mina and OCE. We'll see how good Power and Pioneers really are. The wait is almost over, Wave. I can't wait.
We're so close. We're so close there. And it does also mean that our NA leaderboard here, Gibbs, is complete. Yeah. It's done. These numbers are set in stone, not to be moved.
Yeah, speaking of so close, you know, I just want to just yell at Luminosity here for 1 second. All right, just 1 second. Luminosity, if you would have just beat OG, we would have been having a 5-way tiebreaker. We'd be here all day. But no, OG, congratulations to them with that quarterfinal win. They leapfrog over all those other teams, jam-packed, tied for 5th. They get that 3-point gap. OG is there as your 4 seed. Luminosity clinches with the 3. And of course, As we all predicted at the beginning, it was going to be a top 2 heavy region. G2 and Gen G, they proved that all split long. Congrats to them with the number 1 and number 2 seed. And it's gonna be fun. We got a lot of veterans going for North America to Copenhagen. The North American players, they've always been counted out, but there's a lot of them that are land veterans that know how to perform when it matters most. So yes, we understand Europe is probably the favorites, but anything can happen when the games begin, so it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
The more one-sided it feels, the more crazy the upsets are, and also the more you usually undervalue the competition here, making it more likely an upset can happen here. I mean, Stacks, looking at our top 4 teams from North America, G2, Gen G, Luminosity, OG, and also thinking about the teams that just barely missed, the TSMs, the Dignitases, the M80s. How would you rate the champions Norca is sending here to the event?
Well, I mean, yeah, you've got G2 and Gen G. I said at the very beginning that I thought if any North American team was going to have a shot against basically the blue wall, it was going to be those two. It very quickly became just G2, but now we're seeing a Gen G that can compete. And I'm not going to discount, I don't know, I'm not as high up on LG as maybe I would be OG because of the way they finished the split. I think that you've got a lot of veteran presence there on OG, guys that have done it for a long time on other rosters, so don't count them out either.
It was incredible. An incredible moment there, folks. Now, we do have one more thing to do before we close out our day here, and that is to do something, and we're going to elect an MVP. That's the word I was looking for. It was escaping my brain. The MVP presented by Ally. Thanks to Ally for making this one possible. Ally been partnering with the Rlcs for a little while here, and our wonderful event MVP, none other than, of course, it's First Killer. It has to be First Killer from beginning to end. This is a long package, Gibbs, and it's because he earned it. It's an incredible moment, full of excellent goals.
Number 1 in goals per game across the whole tournament, 1.17. The next highest was 1.03 by 2 different players, so a pretty sizable gap. But it was more his playmaking ability that I felt like in the later half of this tournament that he really shined. Number 2 in assists per game throughout the entire tournament. We saw it here in the grand finals. First Killer was a great playmaker to set up goals with his flipper sets, with his mechanics. He was doing it all, but he winds up for the entire split, as always, the number 1 player that was involved in goals. Goals plus assists per game. He's done that for 2 years running in North America. He does it again here for the entire split as well. So First Killer back on that MVP track for the entire split, but he does get the Ally MVP here for this tournament. Well deserved.
If you want to watch First Killer play in person, you can do that at the end of the month in Copenhagen. Billalund.dk if you want to get your tickets. Make sure you go, Stacks, for the people that haven't been before. I mean, I ask every caster to do this at some point. Give me your elevator pitch. Why do you go to LAN?
Just see the polar bears at the Copenhagen Zoo, obviously, and then you catch great world-class Rocket League on top of that. Absolutely. I can't wait, man. It's been so long since Germany, seeing the best players in the world. Now we get them all under one roof with Esports' greatest fans by our side. Can it be the end of March already?
It's coming up. Well, we had 3 spots on that top leaders graphic that are still yet to be filled and yet to be secured. Europe's got to do it all next weekend, folks. 4:30 Central European time is the time where their pre-shows begin, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 5 p.m. kickoff. You won't want to miss it. The strongest region in Rocket League right now, figuring out which 4 champions they are going to be sending to Copenhagen to try and dominate. The Goliaths going up against each other. You won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching our show, folks. We'll see you next week.
with you now, and there's nowhere to run. Alright. Dropping the pin, pull up in 5 minutes. When I come through, it gets ridiculous. Locking the door, dress on the floor, got me wanting more. Was trying to be alone, didn't plan it, happened on its own. Now you're here and there's nowhere to run. Alright, if I had to choose, it'd be me and you. If there's no us, alright, nothing left to lose. There's no me and you. Where would I run? Wanna fall in deep, I wanna jump. I'm with you now, and there's nowhere to run. Alright, you know I'm in it.